of this thing, and I had so much fun with silver.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that my little brother went, "Hey, I'm gonna give you silver as a Christmas present, or a heart gold as a silver present." I'm like, "You are the greatest little brother in existence."
Yeah. Yeah. No, anytime you get a Pokemon game, that's a pretty good day.
It's a good day.
It's a pretty good day. I mean, I had a friend who was just done with, I think he got a Game Boy Advance or something, and he had the Game Boy Color. And he was like, "Hey, you want this? It has the Pokemon on it." And I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
please. I'm gonna take that." And I realized, like, my original Game Boy, I had the gray original Game Boy, and that was given to me by my aunt. She was like, she had become a Tetris addict, and she was like, "You know what? I should probably give this up. Here, take this. Make it go away."
Hey, hey, young influenceable child, take this clearly addictive platform from me.
You enjoy. Thanks, Carmen. Yeah, and so after that, it's like, oh my god, I can buy games for this. Well, I'm getting Pokemon, and we're
That is
off to the
that is a
races.
remarkable way to do. Hey, you're clearly young and influenceable, and this thing seems very addictive to me.
Yep.
Have fun.
Yep, you enjoy. Hey, kids these days always looking at their phones. Well, you gave them the phone. I mean, what did you want? You
Yeah,
freely just chuck a phone in their face. Guess what? They're gonna use it. It's the way it is. Of course, I
that sort of You keep complaining about the current generation when you raised it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I find it so funny because like now I'm sitting we sit down, we're gonna watch a movie, and I'm sitting there and I'm gonna watch a movie, and like mom and my stepfather are there and everything, and I have put my phone down so I can watch the movie. They're on their phones.
I think they knew that, but they were not expecting you to yell that.
But you know what? I appreciate that. Yes, you do.
They seem to appreciate it. So you did good. High five. Yeah. Hey Max, did you know you're an internet phenomenon by proxy? Petting the dog. She's like, okay, I accept this. I was sleeping, but sure.
I,
Wait, no, it is. It's very interesting to see how the way you interact with games, the way that's influenced by the people you're with and raised by, and just the
yeah,
the sheer just variety of people's level of investment.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because it kind of reminds me, like my household now, and really like for like my parents' generation, it's sort of like that commercial where they all sit down to dinner and the kid's trying to talk about his day, and the parents are on their phone just kind of going, "Yeah, sounds great, amazing," and he's like, they want to ship me off to Guatemala. Yeah, sounds good. Do you need a note?" Like they're just on their phone.
Yeah, no, I love that because it's like, yes, you think your kids are the problem. Guess who it is?
Well, because
You're a terrible parent.
well, they were
I'm
talking.
Batman.
They were talking about like there's that stigma that, oh yeah, millennials, you're always on your phones. It's like, yeah, you know who else is on the phone? Everybody with a phone, because it's like this,
Yep.
it's this giant revolution in technology, all of this information in the palm of your hands. Guess what? Everyone's interested in using that. It's not one generation. It might have come
Weird. It's
around in
remarkably
ours.
similar to what happened when the newspaper became commonplace.
Yeah, exactly. Or remember when television was going to rot your brain, or radio was going to negatively influence the youth, or or this.
Printed works was gonna destroy the value of written word.
Oh my God,
Like
yeah.
literally, 1500s printing press comes out. People start saying, "Oh, this is gonna destroy the concept of written word being valuable."
Yeah, where they where they have like Homer going kind of like, "Oh my God, you're not going to use the oral tradition. You're going to write things down in a book. That's for the weak-minded and the lazy." And it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah, well, you know what? This is just a new thing. We find new things. We use them.
It's almost like it's easier to transfer the way we make information more available for the next generation is a good thing.
and maybe it's not something to be afraid of. It's just, what did they? I was watching something. I think I was watching Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything, and he was at like Deep Shift because they wanted to have him on to talk about marketing, because millennials really seem to like his show, and he basically did a whole thing where he was like, "Yeah, so millennials don't exist." Like the whole thing about generations is a marketing tool, and it's always been derisive, and it's never been in a complimentary fashion. It's been something that a lot of people use to talk about the next generation down and how you somehow relate to them. But it's not, generations are not really a thing. It doesn't really make sense. But one of the things that he talked about, there was a quote from Douglas Adams, and I think I don't remember exactly what it was, but Douglas Adams basically said, anything that is developed before you're 15 is perfectly natural and the order of things. Anything that's developed between the time you're 15 and 35 is new and innovative technology. Anything that's developed after you're 35 is unnatural and probably the work of Satan. And so
it's like that. It's like, I think it's Aristotle or Socrates or one. It's Aristotle, Socrates, or Plato. I don't know who, but it's that quote that says, "This generation is awful. They don't stand up when the elders enter the room. They're disrespectful of the new generation. They're loud. They're obnoxious, and they have ridiculous ideas of what the future holds."
Mm-hmm.
And it is the same commentary. I'm reading this thing and go, okay, what politician said this? No, it's Socrates.
No.
In 2000 BC, saying the same fucking shit.
Yeah, it was. I think you know who it was. I think it was Hesiod, because he was like one of the first economists that was back in the Greek states, and so they had attributed something like that to him, where he was the first one to actually use the terminology of generation on generation. And I found that so interesting that, like, yeah, literally, this is nothing new, folks. This has always just been, the last generation will complain about the new generation in perpetuity, and the new generation, the old generation's just not going to understand what we're doing, and
it's entirely due to the fact that the current generation is approximately 15 to 20 years older and has that entire existence of experience to compare, and goes, well, clearly I knew this the whole time, and that's not the case.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. But no, I thought it was interesting because when he was talking about the idea that really generations don't exist, because if you think about it, there are baby boomers who gave birth to other baby boomers. If you look at how they delineate it out, so that's not really how generations work.
Generations don't work by concise eras or by exact generational requirements.
No.
It's just what you happen to be raised on.
Yeah.
My music selection, whenever I'm driving, ranges from the 1950s to current pop.
Yep.
Why? Because that's just what I was raised on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much my jam too, because when I was young, we would play like Everly Brothers. So like if Everly Brothers comes on, I ain't knocking it. I'm perfectly happy with that. But
Billy Joel continues to be one of my preferred artists.
Yeah, I totally. Oh God, I'm trying to think who else. Oh, now I'm not going to remember his name. I keep wanting to say Orson Welles, but it's not Orson Welles. Roy Orbison. Sorry.
Okay.
Roy Orbison
yes.
is. Yeah. John
Mellencamp.
John Mellencamp. The Beach Boys. I can't fault the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that thing where, like, I was playing Fallout 76. Oh. No, but I was playing Fallout 76. Well, they sent it to me, and I was like, well, I'm going to try.
Hey, they sent it to you. Then it's okay.
They said they sent it out as a rental. I was like, well, all right, I'll give it a go. And the Beach Boys is on the track, a Beach Boys song, and I'm like, well, that's more recent than I'm usually used to for, like, Fallout music, but I'm gonna go with it. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm not gonna complain. I get some Beach Boys going on while I'm blowing up, badly rendered zombies. And that kind of move.
So many complaints, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the complaint that I had done a video on 76, and my whole thing was, instead of talking about the glitches in the game, because yeah, they're there, but let's be honest.
It's a Bethesda multiplayer. How it's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah. But also, like, let's be honest, I have not picked up a Bethesda game that didn't have those. Like, every single time I've played Bethesda games since like Morrowind, and every single one I've picked up has had these really weird
And that's
glitches,
part of the
freezes.
fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I even said, like, in the video, and I stand by it. Keep releasing Skyrim 6 years later, and it has the same bugs. They didn't even fix the bugs after 6 years to the
Because
reissue.
that's part of the charm, and people keep fucking buying it.
Yep, people will buy it,
They
so
wouldn't.
why bother?
They
Yeah.
would stop releasing it if it wasn't profitable.
Yeah.
Stop buying it if you don't want it to be released again.
Yeah, because of the general idea. I can't remember who said it. Somebody did, and very recently to me, is that, oh, I think it was Jacob, actually. I was hoping he would be
Probably.
popping in. But the thing where, oh, no. You know what? It was in a game I'm playing, and it was Steven Matson, who's been on the show. But Steven was kind of like, I've gotten tired of Bethesda's business model, because they have determined that instead of finishing their game, they will let the community mod it out. And they will let their users finish their game. So,
Kinda, but not really. They are very dedicated, so that yeah, there are glitches that are clearly repeatable and doable, and they're parts of the engine they've made that they can't avoid.
right.
But they're totally okay with a less optim. The biggest thing to me is it's less optimized to fix that. So
Yeah.
they sit there and go, we will let the community fix this, because the community will either optimize this for a better fix or just accept it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a sort of actual cost value ratio where, it is weird that if someone has a sword on their hip, it kind of clips through the bed, but very few people will care about that.
Yeah, I mean, if it looks like my hair is coming through my hat, I'm not going to complain. I mean, I've even seen that kind of clipping problem in like a Red Dead Redemption 2, and knowing how long they worked on that game, I really can't fault them for that. There's just some things that you can't work out without it becoming a bigger problem if you try to fix it.
Exactly.
But I think the big thing that I talked about, though, in that particular video was that actually 76 probably would have benefited from not being a Fallout game. And my justification for that was, if you think about what everyone expects from a Fallout game, that kind of experience, they had to do a lot of maneuvering to kind of shoehorn a Fallout experience into something that really didn't feel like it wanted to be. Like, they had to mess with the Brotherhood of Steel storyline and the whole canon they had set up so that you could have power armor in the game. And I like power armor, but it doesn't feel like it makes much sense if you've already canonized something to then retcon it and say, actually, in order to do this multiplayer game, I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah,
You know.
I think it would have done very well
Yeah.
if they went, hey, even if they slapped the Fallout name, didn't slap the Fallout name, been like, or just been like, hey, this is an alternate Fallout timeline.
Yeah.
This is a specific vault we've made for this specific game. This does
Right.
not tie into the continuity of the stories we have made.
Yeah.
This is more of just, hey, we're making a like, if they explicitly came out and went, we wanted to make a multiplayer game,
Sure.
but that didn't fit in the Fallout universe. So here's an alternate universe timeline, and we're explicitly saying that.
Yeah.
A lot of fans would have been totally fine with that.
Yeah, and I, like, considering that the majority of the game that is, like, Fallout related looks basically like a coat of paint on a different game, they could have pretty much just said, hey, we're starting a new franchise, and it's also a post-apocalypse, so it's going to remind you a lot of Fallout. but it's different, and we're
And then
not.
we all laugh
Yeah.
because Outer Worlds came out and they went from the original creators of Fallout, and we all have to sit there and go, I mean, you're right. You're right.
How
That's shit,
how
man.
tongue in cheek do you think Obsidian was when they put that together? Kind of like going, we want to make sure that they know we didn't work on 76, right?
Uh, I think it wasn't quite as much we didn't do 76 and more of a fuck you, we made a damn good Fallout and you won't let us do more.
Remember when we
I
made
think it
Fallout games? Remember how those were? Remember that?
remember how that an entire group will straight up flip their shit if we would make another Fallout game? No, remember how you guys just refused to let us try another one? Yeah, fuck you, we have your original creators.
I just they were they were just so good at it. I remember, and
They did damn good. They
yeah,
took the gameplay elements, the sort of integral. They took the dialogue. They took the personality that was from those original games that people liked,
yeah,
and they went. The fans really do appreciate this.
yeah,
It's not gonna turn into more sales, but we're gonna put the effort in so it turns into long-term appreciation,
yeah.
and that's hard to push.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right. I was thinking of that. Um, yeah, I thought it was so like when I think about it now, I'm like, that's really intriguing. That once upon a time, Black Isle Studios, which is eventually what Obsidian turned into,
Hmm.
they were gonna make a Fallout 3, and that Fallout 3 was gonna be Van Buren. And they it was essentially the storyline of New Vegas. It had the New California Republic and it had Caesar's Legion and had all of that. And then when Bethesda got a hold of it, they made the Fallout 3 that we all know and I actually do love. That was set in the Capital Wasteland. And so when Obsidian gets the ability to do the sequel, it's like they say, you know what? I guess New Vegas is just going to be the Fallout 3 we always planned on making. I hope people like that. And they just make
And
that game with the engine.
and it worked.
It very much did. And it's the
It
one that,
worked very well.
and it's the one that people just, it endears them to the series to this day because they just did a
Yep.
great job with that
I
game.
think
But
I think the funniest part to me is just the concept that there are this litany of people who go, I never played Fallout in Fallout 2,
hmm
but I saw the dialogue and the entertainment of New Vegas and I went, okay, I want to see what these games were.
yeah,
And that is something a lot of modern games have trouble with because they go, hey, we're the fourth, seventh, eighth game, ninth game in our series.
hmm
We would love for people to go back and play it, but we have to distinguish ourselves, so we're not going to make many callbacks. Like I think
right,
Assassin's Creed's the game I'm most tied to in that, where it's
hmm
we'll make references, but we mm, they can't seem to get people involved into their older games.
yeah,
And I'm sitting here going, I started at Brotherhood. You guys got me to play 2 and 1 because of my interest in the various plots.
yeah,
Can you go back to this sort of these people are interesting and have influenced history in subtle ways?
yeah,
Because, you know, I'm
hmm
from Boston.
yeah,
I played 3.
yeah.
Why the fuck am I riding with Paul Revere? Like,
three, three was not the finest example of Assassin's Creed.
3 was 3 was them going, all right, we're just gonna make the Native Americans responsible for the American Revolution, and someone in the back goes, wait, what? Yeah, it's like us repaying them for their no, that's not how that.
No.
Oh God, you already wrote the story, you fucking idiots.
Well, they talked about, like, if you look at the canonical world that they created for Assassin's Creed, there's a reason why you're never going to see Assassin's Creed in World War II. Because for some reason, the way Ubisoft created that like, the legend of the assassins and the Templar. Apparently, in that particular era, like Churchill and Hitler were both working for the Templar at the same time, and so of course they're not going to have, because it's like, no, this is just too trepidatious waters to even get into. Let's not even worry too much about it.
I understand. It's a little bit too much for us to say assassins did this, because it's kind of, there were Nazis for a bit longer than there should have been with a highly advanced killing force.
Yeah.
But as someone who grew up going, okay, the Tea Party was basically a stealth operation where people dressed as Mohawk Native Americans,
right,
and did some crazy shit,
yeah.
and you're playing a Mohawk Native American. That makes so clearly you're gonna teach them. There's gonna be a small cutscene where you go, okay, this is how you dress this. Here's your wigs. Here's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Someone questions why we're dressing as your people, and he goes, well, nobody would question it, and it'll make sense. And then you're gonna have to go ahead and take out the. No, we're just gonna punch people on a ship, and everyone's gonna clap for us in the middle of the fucking day.
Yeah, I think that they kind of screwed themselves on 3, because after you play Hatham, and Hatham's actually kind of a cool character, and then you realize, oh no, he's a Templar, and you have to play as Connor, and Connor's sort of like a wet blanket as a character throughout the majority of the thing. You're like, well,
I appreciate his dedication, but he is a terrible personality to follow.
He's just kind of bland throughout the entire thing. He's just kind of there.
XP.
Hey, talking about somebody who just happens to be there, it's Alex.
Hey, Alex, get me off this topic while I do some other things.
What topic are we talking about?
Assassin's Creed.
We were talking about
say something other than.
I mean, I've got alcohol, so yeah.
Perfect.
we all do, I think, for the most part.
I apparently was waiting to tuck my son into bed and decided to take a short nap.
Ah, I see how that worked. You decided to tuck yourself in before you tucked him in. That's cool. That's cool.
That's the thing.
Hey, whatever gets you through the day, or gets you halfway through the day.
Through an hour.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, actually, we were just talking a little bit about what people are currently playing. I was I might as well pass the question on to you, Alex, while you're here. What are you currently playing?
Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Pathfinder Kingmaker. I don't know that one.
It's a game that's based off Pathfinder, which
is
based off D&D 3.5.
I got that it was based off of Pathfinder, but what is it? Is it like a CRPG
it's
top down?
Yeah, it's very similar to Neverwinter Nights.
Oh, okay.
Or Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Age? Am I thinking Dragon Age? Yeah, I'm thinking Dragon Age. So it's got that tactical combat where you can pause in the middle of it.
Oh, okay.
Instead of turn-based combat.
Okay.
The combat takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
But it's good. I like it.
So
it's
okay.
Pretty fun.
So more of Dragon Age than like a Baldur's Gate. Like it's not that kind of perspective, or.
No, it's a top down.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because
is that top down or is it like third person kind of angled?
Yeah, it's like the classic CRPG, isometric kind of looking, style grid. Yeah. No, I've been playing on and off not Pillars of Eternity. I've just thought of that because we were talking about Obsidian a moment ago. No, Divinity Original Sin, and that also takes that kind of approach.
It's similar. So where you get your party and you kind of can either let them have their actions as they want the AI, or you can take direct control over everyone and tell them what you want them to do. Yeah. So it's a lot more like Neverwinter Nights.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
Except better graphics.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, Divinity was really neat just because it kind of reminded me of Baldur's Gate, but I really liked the idea that there was like environmental interaction. Like if your character's strong enough, you can just pick up a barrel, and if you toss it on top of a trap, it will just activate the trap, so you can blow up traps in your way with barrels, or just stop gas
Yeah.
tanks from. So if there's like a gas trap in your way, and you just cover it up with a barrel, it eliminates the gas cloud, and you can walk by it. And
Yeah, see, I did play Divinity, and it's similar to that, but I didn't really get into Divinity nearly as much.
yeah,
Maybe it's the lack, like there's total customization with your skills and stuff,
yeah.
but I think it might be a little too less structured than I'm willing to deal with.
Okay. Because, see, I just love the idea that I can create an oil spill, and then if I set fire on the oil spill, the whole oil spill goes up in flames. And then if I cast rain, it will put out the fire, but it will create a giant smoke cloud in the area and obscure people's view inside of that area. I just like the
Yeah,
fact that...
that's a really cool system.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
like
really
those.
dealt with that in Pathfinder.
Inevitably, your whole party just ends up like confused and disarrayed. And after every combat, like there's fire over here, there's smoke over here, this part's electrocuted, there's poison all over the place. And I'm like, I
They're
gotta,
like, what
Yeah,
just
I started
happened?
playing Divinity
Yeah.
too, and I'm like, what does this power do? Oh, that sets everything on fire.
yeah,
Great.
you gotta be careful with the powers you have in that
That's
game.
awesome. But I think that is my favorite way to present sort of that isometric view game. The way they have the mechanics and the turn order and things. I
I
really
liked it.
enjoyed that more than other recent games of that type.
Yeah. I mean, I have not played Pillars of Eternity, but I heard good things. But, this happened to be the one I got my hands on first, so I was like, all right, we'll do that. And I haven't played the second one, but just the first.
I will say that Pathfinder Kingmaker, as much as I do like it, and as good as a lot of it is, there are definitely bugs in it. Like there are tooltips missing. I have my ranger has the ability for cleave and then great cleave, but on the bar it only comes up with cleave twice. So there's some bugs. It's not quite finished. I don't know when it came out.
Yesterday. Came out yesterday.
No,
sure.
it's nice. I like it. It's
Yeah.
the 3.5 experience I liked. It's the Neverwinter Nights but better.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to like Neverwinter Nights, but it was just the entire combat system was just atrocious.
Yeah, I can understand why you might not have been enthralled with it. I mean, I played Neverwinter Nights and I liked it just fine, but it wasn't like the end all be all for me. I didn't.
Yeah.
I could have taken it or left it, but I do appreciate like when I've talked to people who did like Neverwinter Nights, the idea of actually being in servers and being able to essentially like DM and play essentially a game in like a persistent world, which Neverwinter did let you do on private servers and set up your own world and run it almost like it was an actual tabletop game, but in a video game. I was like, yeah, I can totally understand why you would appreciate that, because I still don't really see games that allow you to do that kind of thing. The closest analog you have is like a Roll20. But to actually be a character in the thing and to actually take agency of your character while you're playing, that seems super cool in those scenarios. Yeah, no, we were talking about bugs a little bit earlier. Not actual bugs, but game bugs. Because I mentioned Fallout 76.
Oh boy.
And the video that I did. Bugs. Yeah, they're bugs. Well, when you talk about Bethesda in general, there's going to be talk of bugs.
Well, usually your modder community takes care of those for you, Bethesda.
Yeah.
But you told them to write you strongly worded essays on what they did was wrong.
We love you, modder community, but please stop. Yeah, the idea of, which I've seen more of this year, and maybe it's the reason why I haven't been as excited about a lot of new releases, is the idea that it's just fine to release a half-finished game, and you'll work it out later.
This is why I don't even buy early access games.
Oh, no, I would never advise people to buy early access, unless you've been able to try it and you like it already. because I've done that for a couple games that were in game preview, but it was because I actually played it and I was like, oh, this is fun, because they let you try it out. Like Subnautica, I actually got on that premise. I got a game preview, got to play it for like an hour or two, and they were like, "Yeah, if you like it, you can buy it now." And luckily, that was one that they actually did work on. I haven't gone back to it because I remembered for a second. Oh right, it's all underwater combat, and I hate that. Um, but while you're playing it, you don't care so much because the game is so damn good while you're playing. Um, and it's like, it was like a game where they had this big, lush underwater environment, and it wasn't procedurally generated. They just made it. Like, they carefully placed everything where they wanted. And I did that, and the one that they also got from game preview was Ghost of a Tale, which I think I did a video on. Where you play a little mouse, and it's more of a stealth game, and you have to get around rats in a dungeon, and it's so charming. It's just a really charming game with a nice art style that looks very like medieval in its tone, and it's got fun little characters in it, and a lot of stealth action. And I see so few good like stealthy games that really focus on stealth and are fine with being a stealth game. They're usually like, most games that I play that are stealth games now are stealth until someone sees you, and then it's just mow everybody down with a machine gun. It's pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much the stealth games I'm used to. It's like sneak, oh crap, I got caught. Die, everybody. I just played Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and there is a whole stealth system in that, but like literally the second somebody sees you, yeah, it's combat, blow everyone up. Just Lara is going straight Rambo now. We're just getting out my fire arrows, and I'm setting everything on fire now. But yeah.
Hooray, everything's on fire.
But in Ghost of a Tale, if somebody catches you, you pretty much have to either distract them or run away. Like you can't like kill the enemies. You can knock them out temporarily, but you cannot kill them. So you have to be clever and try to work around them, which is like,
so it's like the Metal Gear thing. If you get spotted, it's like game over. Haha.
That's what the original Splinter Cell games were like too.
Splinter Cell? Maybe I'm thinking that.
There were probably some moments in Metal Gear. Oh, there were some moments in Red Dead Redemption where you have to like follow people or be stealthy, but if you don't for some reason, it just fails the game. No, the first like 2 Splinter Cell games, the first one in Pandora Tomorrow, were like that. Like there were certain missions where I think I talked about the Chinese embassy with you at one point in the original game. There's that like hour-long break between save points, and if you mess up or they catch you or they see you at any point, you get a game over and you go back to that previous save point, and you're like, oh my god, I have to get through this entire room and I can't kill anybody because because it's an embassy. And it's an international conflict if I do anything. So I can't kill any of these guards that have automatic machine guns. And I also can't let any of them see me. And, like, I pretty much can't knock anybody out because then their bodies are going to get spotted. And I have to clear this entire room before it hits me on a checkpoint. Or it will just fail me immediately. And that was
Seems legit.
Yeah. And by the time they got to Chaos Theory, which was, like, one of the best Splinter Cell games, they were like, no, if you do get spotted or something, it's going to affect your score at the end of the mission, but it's not going to fail you. It's just going to change the dynamics of the game. And the enemies actually start to ramp up their attacks based on how aggressive you are. In some ways, so
that sounds about right.
Yeah, so it's sort of like the game will react to what you do.
But that's good.
Well,
that's interesting because it's not just enemies responding with the same thing every time. It's enemies who learn based on what you do.
Yeah, and I appreciated that a whole lot more. But yeah, so it was just so rare to see an actual stealth game. I was like, I really want to support this because Lord knows We Happy Few wasn't. Oh
My friend
boy.
has a We Happy Few, and she's really upset because it loads and it crashes.
Oh yes, it does. It loads, it crashes. If you think Bethesda's bad for glitches and bugs, oh go ahead and play We Happy Few. It is a hot mess. And I
I'm okay with not playing games that don't load.
yeah. There were
I'm okay with not playing games that don't load.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, no, that's a fair thing to say. You don't have to be okay with games that
Like
don't
if
load.
I wanted to get angry at something, I wouldn't be playing video games.
Right, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of why you play video games.
I mean, depends on. I mean, some games can make you angry and how good they are. I definitely one of the things while playing like Pathfinder Kingmaker because it's very, as I said, Neverwinter Nights. Like,
Mm.
you have different options based on alignment choices and based on what alignment you want your answer to be more geared towards.
Mhm.
So that affects your choices later on. But like, so I was looking for this kid. I couldn't find him at the witch that they thought this witch stole him. So I went to investigate, and they're like, she's like, no, I didn't fucking steal a kid. I don't do that. What are you fucking crazy? So I go looking, and I found this village of lizard folk, and this old lizard folk that speaks commons out there. He's like, hey, yeah, no, you're looking for that kid. He's in the village.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're thinking that this person here or whatever is an old spirit trying to help him out. And he's like, they're dumb. He's like, they don't listen to me, but they're all stupid. I'm like, all right, so go check it out. Turns out this like spirit possessed the child and like enslaved the village to his whims. And I can either like bring back the old lizard folk that I talked to in the first place and have him take place of the child, or I can go talk to the lizard folk and have him come and help me defeat the spirit.
Yeah.
So I did this, and I was like, well, the tribe is more important than just a child. I'm like, and I'll get the child back if I kill the spirit instead of just like keeping them enslaved. So I go back with the guy, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna kill the spirit. Let's drive it out of there. He's like, yeah. So he does that, and he ends up killing the chieftain of the tribe, the spirit, and then as he's dying, he's like, I can still take this kid with me, and he kills the kid. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? I thought I was gonna get the kid back. Fuck. Go back to the kid's mother in my kingdom. I'm like, yeah, couldn't save your kid.
Yeah.
She's all like sad, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, I tried, but I wanted to also not enslave this fucking lizard folk. So there's lots of interesting storytelling in it, and
I inevitably appreciate role playing games that actually let you role play and make decisions that affect the game.
Oh yeah, I at one point there was a kobold and troll alliance, and I was like, all right, I killed the troll, and then left alive, and I'm like, I can kill him, or you can like make him swear fealty to you because they all know common. They've been trying to get along or whatever. And so I go to keep him. I'm like, yeah, you have to swear fealty to me though. And then the ranger in my party's like, yeah, no, bye, and he left my party. Just like, oh, okay. But then I did it this time around because I made a different character build. And I killed him first, and the troll was left alive. And you can have the troll swear fealty to you, kill him, or drive him from your lands as well. And I was like, what? I need to go back through this and make like an evil campaign where I keep trolls and the forest monsters alive. Because you get to do kingdom building, so it's just like, huh. I want trolls and kobolds in my kingdom because who's going to attack my kingdom then?
Yeah. See, this is the reason why I never understood why you didn't like totally get into KOTOR, because in KOTOR, that's like the whole game is making choices that absolutely affect, like when you go to Kashyyyk, when you do the Wookiee storyline, there's this whole thing where you could just help Circa Corporation and you'll get some rewards for it, but basically you're helping to enslave the Wookiees on their own homeworld and keep
No,
them
I didn't
keep
mind
them loyal.
KOTOR.
Oh, you didn't mind
I
KOTOR?
played some KOTOR. I didn't mind it. It was a little bit old at this point, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah. But I love the fact that, like, if you decide you're going to help the Wookiees get liberated, you go back up to the canopies where Circa is, and the Wookiees are actively now going with bowcasters and killing off Circa Corporation. And you see the change actually take place while you were there. I like the fact that they made those real definitive choices where, like, yeah, no, the world is going to change based on what you do, which is, I can tell you, an experience you don't get in Fallout 76. you just don't. The world never changes. Sorry. It's always the same. You don't get rich storylines. You get a whole lot of audio logs. Enjoy listening to those. Oh man.
You get people screaming at you as you're playing online. Ah!
Oh, yeah. That's not nearly as bad now, but yeah, when they didn't have push to talk. Yeah. Yeah, luckily I got it when it was past that.
Oh no, they didn't include push to talk originally?
Nope.
No.
Oh.
Your mic was always on.
Yep. And I heard several conversations people were having in their own house with other people that were in the room at the time when I passed by, because immersion. I'm like...
Right.
Thanks for the immersive experience, Bethesda. I appreciate it. Oh man, like I even said in the video, like there's fun to be had in 76, but it's not the Fallout experience you would imagine or want.
If I wanted that kind of fun, I would probably just like sit in a bar.
Yeah, there are no bars to frequent in 76, unfortunately.
Oh, well,
sorry.
That's because there's no human NPCs to serve you alcohol.
There's no one, and unfortunately, like I said, I did not realize this. I thought that they were just gonna have a thing where like, the humans aren't in it, and because they've made this whole thing. Of course, the ironic thing is you go around the world and you find all of these dead humans that look like they literally died moments before you got there. They're just like dead bodies that haven't decomposed or anything. And it's like, well, why couldn't you have just stayed alive long enough to talk to you? But everyone you talk to are basically like robots and AIs and stuff, but you have no dialogue trees with them. So when you walk up to them, you push a button so that they can start their speech. And when they're done with their speech, you get a quest to go and do something for them. It's like...
Robots don't usually want a lot, so I don't know what a robot wants to do for a quest.
Oh, so many things. They want you to do so many... Because you go and you visit, like, the mayor of Grafton, and guess what? The mayor of Grafton is a computer! So the mayor of Grafton needs you to help him clean up the town. And then you go to the jail. You go to the jail, talk to the warden, and guess what? The warden is an AI, and he's controlling.
Who would they put in jails? Robots always follow.
Oh no! They were supposed to be keeping the super mutants in this jail, but then everything went to hell, and the super mutants are just out, and they're not locked into the cells anymore, and they want to kill you very, very quickly. And then you meet there's one point in a storyline where there's like, you go to the top of the world, which is like this observatory, and you're getting these commands from this person called, I think her name was Rose. And you're like, oh, maybe there's an actual character that they put into the game where you can talk to. And after you do her quest, she lets you come up and you find out, oh, no, it's a Mr. Handy that now has the personality of a raider whose name was Rose. And she like downloaded her personality into a Mr. Handy, and she looks like if Codsworth like went to the Raiders and got Raider gear on him, and like a spiked like hat and stuff. It's kind of what she looks like.
All right then.
Yeah, and
okay. See,
yeah,
they could have at least added in the robot creation mechanics from that DLC that they had.
Oh, from Fallout 4.
Yeah.
So you could just make at least a
That way
companion
you could
character?
make your own companions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I played around with that so much because I loved making robot companions. They were so much better than my regular companions.
Well,
And
yeah, even just adding that in would make a better experience for you playing Fallout 76. You don't
yeah.
need humans if you can build your own robots.
Yeah, I could at least have like a squad. I could make my own like Squirtle squad out of robots. I could just make sentry bots. That's what I did.
Squad goals.
I inevitably like the robot that I always kept around. I can't remember what I called him. I think I called him Iron Giant. I was literally like it was a fully modded out, tricked out sentry bot with an orange coat of paint and a and a robo brain for a head, and and it was great. I had missile launchers on the back. He had a psionic attack. He was tricked out. He had like bombardment tools on the back of his shell. I didn't have to do anything. The only problem is that every time you go through a doorway, the robot can't get through because he's too big. But besides that, it worked out terrific.
Every time you enter a settlement, he just fucking kills everybody.
Yeah, like literally I would just stand outside and just wait to repair the robot because literally there's just mortar cannons on its back and it's just bombarding the settlement. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. I think I did give it, I think I eventually did give it Ava's personality chip, so at least it was Ava from the missions.
Oh, there you go.
I was like, okay, so it's kind of like still an NPC. Because you have her, you have her personality chip that you can use and put it into other robots, so you can still go around with her or Jezebel if you want to seem more evil, because Jezebel was another one of the AIs you could.
I mean, you're using a fully modded sentry bot. I think you're kind of evil.
Well, kinda, but I mean, when Ava just kind of says, "Reminds you of simpler times, doesn't it, sir?" You feel like maybe. After you've just like eradicated an entire group of people, it's like, yeah, it's nice. We have a wistful moment. But
Simpler times back in the days when you could kill everyone with an automated robot.
I remember back in the day when when we had to travel 10 miles in the snow to get a sentry bot. Yeah, no, there were a lot of things that they could have done to make it a more interesting experience. But yeah, literally one time I did log into 76 and it takes a while for it to actually load up, and like 5 seconds in the game froze and I had to restart the game. It did, and I kind of expected it because, I've played Bethesda games. It's not like this doesn't happen in other games. But it was like I had kind of said when I did the attempting to play video, it's like I think this would have actually been better if they had not tried to shoehorn Fallout into it. If they hadn't tried to like make VATS work in a real-time combat system, if they hadn't tried to like mess around with special, if they hadn't like tried to shoehorn all the Falloutiness into this game and just tried to make it a separate entity, I kind of feel like it would have been a better overall game. But brand recognition,
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, you know that
Unfortunate.
that people are gonna buy it because it has Fallout in the name. But
Yeah, you should go get your Nuka-Cola rum.
I do say to myself though, I think I even mentioned it, is that Bethesda does sort of run the risk, if they're going to put Fallout as a brand on a product that's like this, that kind of slights a lot of what you expect from a Fallout game, you do risk really tarnishing any future projects you make in the series.
Yeah. Yeah, they've tarnished their name pretty good this season.
Yeah, because, when you come out with Fallout 5 or whatever, are people going to be that thrilled? When they said, yeah, we're making Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 are also going to be on the Creation Engine, and you're already looking
and we're like, you need a new engine.
Yeah, you should probably overhaul that engine, because you've been using it for like the past 5 games or something. It might be time. It's just it makes people, especially me, who's a fan of Bethesda and has been in the past, makes me worry about what they're going to do in the future. I'm a little terrified about what they're gonna try to pass off as a game next time after playing 76. Like in the future, I can see 76 if they do a lot of work, and I imagine they will, because I've seen other games.
Maybe.
We'll see. But I mean, I think they're aware that the backlash was not good, and they have to go into,
No, they may be aware of it, but they've handled it terribly. So
yeah, they certainly have. So I don't know if they're gonna do as good a job at repairing that as some other, like. I feel like there have been a rash of games that launched with a lot of anticipation, like a No Man's Sky or a Sea of Thieves or any of those, and people get really jazzed about them at the initial, and then they say, oh no, these are kind of not good, and I don't like them. And then those companies go in and say, oh, okay, we can fix this. And, to Hello Games' credit, even though I don't really still think No Man's Sky is a particularly great game, they did make a lot of free, gigantic updates to expand the content and give actual quests and missions and things to do in No Man's Sky. And to Rare's credit, and I love Rare until they became a Microsoft company, but to their credit for Sea of Thieves, they've made a lot more content for it, and they put in the Kraken, and they put in the Megalodon as boss battle, and there are ships out there for you to go and pillage and plunder, and they put more stuff in it as big free updates to the game. Not that necessarily makes them good games now, but at least they worked on them. I don't know about Bethesda, but...
See, but Bethesda added their online store, which is full of junk. And
I
all
see
the microtransactions in the world.
The Atomic Store is terrific. Oh, I don't think I had this in the video, but I gotta tell you this. So, you actually get Adam throughout the game, if you're just playing the game. There's like daily challenges, and you get little pieces of Adam that you can use in the store, in the Atomic Store. You could also buy Adam, because of course you can. It's microtransaction. But you do earn it throughout the game. And I had gotten quite a bit of it, just from playing. And so I went on to see what I might be able to unlock. And they had, like, suits, and they had emotes and stuff like that. And I saw they had the Nuka Girl, suit with the helmet and everything. And I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. And so I was like, I want to buy that, because then I can look like one of the Nuka Girl Explorer things. And I bought it, and I had a male character, and I didn't realize that it was not it was not built so that it would just work for either a male or female character. No, it was just modeled to be a female suit. And I put it on.
So did it transform your body to a female body?
No, but what it did do is I had a midriff, and my beard disappeared. My character had a beard. My beard was gone, and like my hair was different, and it fit strange. It was obviously still my character, but it did not look like it was working correctly.
Oh, no, it was working, just didn't decide to code it properly.
Yeah, well, like if they
it was no longer.
If they had just made like a Nuka-Cola suit that was like, okay, you can put it on, this is the one for the female model, and this is one for the male model, and you could just switch between them, that would be great. But then I started to realize, oh no, every single costume in the thing is gender specific. So if you get one that's for a different one, and it doesn't look right, it might be because they didn't model it for you. And your character.
Yeah, they definitely didn't model it twice for two different genders.
And I'm not paying another 1,200 Adam if you come out with another one specifically. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna own it. And I walked around the wilderness in this like midriff cropped space suit, trying to play a Don Quixote. And I was like, you know what? That seems like a thing Don Quixote would have done anyway, so you know what? We're good. It looks weird when you go into power armor, though. Because they have, like, the jetpack thing from the suit, and it doesn't really mesh well with the back of the power armor, the thing. So it looks strange, but it's
Man, that time when you didn't overlay the meshes properly.
yeah. Ironically, the helmet looks great because the helmet for the Nuka-Cola helmet, if you don't have a and you probably don't because I couldn't seem to find them, a helmet for the power armor. It basically looks like you have the power armor frame, and then there's the Nuka-Cola helmet on top of the power armor frame. So it's like unintentionally perfect. Thanks for that.
There you go.
Man. Yeah.
Silver linings.
Yeah, silver linings. You make enough mistakes, one of them's bound to endear yourself to them. Yeah. It's
Make enough mistakes, one of them's got to be not a mistake.
Well, they were talking about. I was watching an Outside Xbox video where they were actually talking about, glitches that became important game features, and like the old school ones, like the Space Invaders one, which I'm sure you know about, where the processor just got faster as there were less on screen, to like the fact that Grand Theft Auto like wasn't even Grand Theft Auto before they realized, oh, you can shoot people in this game. It was not an intended thing to do, or to steal the cars. To like the combos in fighting games, that whole idea that you can just keep combining different moves, that was not intended when they originally made the game. Or creepers from Minecraft. Did you know that the creeper was actually Notch had tried to make a pig, and something in the coding went wrong, and he realized that it ended up like tall and green, and it had little short stubby legs, and he was like, oh, that's kind of terrifying. You know what? I'll make that into a monster, and it became the creeper. So there you go. And sometimes your glitch is a good thing, so at least your hit ratio can be somewhat high. Hey, you know what? Bethesda should be hitting pretty high at this point. You could at least 10 of the glitches in the game have got to be winners. If you're hitting like even 1 in 100, you're in great shape. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of glitches in 76, a lot of glitches in We Happy Few, and a lot of really terrible British accents.
Sounds about right.
Because you have to remember that this is a game about an alternative history England that was done by Canada. So you figure that out for yourself. You know what you do? You think about Kids in the Hall when they would do a parody on the Queen of England. If you remember like what that looked like, that's kind of what all the characters in We Happy Few sound like. It's good times. But anywho, so that's good. So everybody's playing some good stuff right now. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about Moonlighter. By the way, Alex, on sale I got Moonlighter, which I had talked about a little bit on previous things. Which is sort of like Stardew Valley a little bit, but you run a shop and you go into like Zelda-like dungeons to collect loot so that you can sell stuff in your shop.
Yes.
And that's pretty fun so far.
Oh boy.
So it's
Exciting.
it is really not like Stardew Valley though. It's very different animal. And I don't imagine it has quite as much of a rich character development among the people in town. But it's okay. I like smashing monsters in a dungeon. Yeah. I know they can't...
Like smashing monsters in dungeons.
Yeah. They can't all be Stardew Valley. I know that. But...
Now, can you upgrade your shop into like a mega mall?
Oh, yeah. There's like 5 levels. I've already done the first upgrade. And I just started playing today. So... But yeah, no, there's 5 different things to make the Emporium at the end. There is like a tip jar that you unlock. You can do, I think on the next upgrade, I can receive missions from townspeople to get specific items for them. And I think they pay me more for it. And you upgrade, you help to open other shops in town.
Why would I want to do that? That sounds like it would waste my money.
Yeah, but it's also the only way that you can like get armor upgrades and potions and equipment and stuff.
Okay.
Because if you don't open the blacksmith shop up, you can't get upgrades to your stuff. If you don't open the potion shop, you can't get enchantments and such.
Ooh,
And then
gotcha.
you can there's a bank. You could open up a bank for like 70,000 gold, but then you can save your money in it. So hopefully you get more than 70,000 from doing that. But it's interesting because trying to figure out when you get stuff from the dungeons, it gives you no information about what this is worth. So you put it in the store and you put a price on it, and you watch as the little bubbles above people's head either becomes angry or happy, and see if they buy them. And when you see them become angry, it's like, oh god! And I run over to the tables and I start marking those prices down, until eventually they're like, I like this. And sometimes I got something that I didn't realize was so valuable, and I priced it low, and you see the little emoji over their head that has like dollar signs in its eyes, like it's so happy it's getting a deal, and they come rushing up at it. And then as you do that, you get information in your journal about, okay, at this price you got a happy face, and at this price you got a frowny face, essentially. And there's a whole thing where if you flood the market with one thing, it lowers the valuation. And if there's a higher demand for a product, you can raise the price of those things. There's like a whole
That makes sense.
economic
That's
system.
basic economics, yeah.
Yeah, but they thought this through. Because like in Stardew Valley, they simplify it. Like everything has just a basic value to it. And you put it in the box and they send it away and you get that money. Which, the prices are just consistent. I know that if I make my ancient fruit wine, I get a bunch of money, and it's the same amount of money every single time.
Who doesn't want ancient fruit wine?
Oh, man. I'll tell you. The thing I did in Stardew Valley to make money, like, this is my cash cow. I unlocked the greenhouse. I unlocked the greenhouse by doing the community center missions. One of them is to unlock the greenhouse. And in the greenhouse, you can grow something year-round. Usually you have to grow them in seasons. And so ancient fruit takes a long time to grow, like takes an entire season to grow. But it will grow over a couple seasons. But in the greenhouse, you can just continually grow it year-round. And so like every 3 or 4 days, you get more ancient fruit, and you can turn it into wine. So I made the entire greenhouse into just an ancient fruit vineyard. And then I could just take that, I could put it in my casks, I put casks all the way around it, and I made wine, and then jackpot. You just send all the wine away, and profit, and you're all set. You can just do that year round, all the time, and that's practically all I need to do. And in the summer, I would just take most of my land and just get coffee beans. And you could just brew coffee, and that's great.
Coffee, everyone loves coffee.
And when you drink the coffee, your run speed gets faster. You can move.
Right,
you can move faster in the game. That's one of those games that it's super fun, and you enjoy it a lot. But at a certain point, you're kind of like going, I think this is more of an addiction than a game.
Can it be both? It's coffee addiction in the game.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I had the same problem where, like, that loop where you're continuously going through the seasons. Oh, I gotta get a bigger orchard. I gotta make more stuff. I gotta make an orchard now. I need to get more stuff. Is great, but also at a certain point you realize I'm pretty much just getting money so that I can grow more stuff. So
Money, grow more stuff.
I mean, I've already made...
Yeah, that's all you ever do in games. More money, grow more stuff.
So that you can get the fanciest pants in the world.
Yes, I want the fancy pants.
Yeah, I get my spreadsheet
I'm expecting a similar reaction when Animal Crossing releases on the Switch this year.
Oh, no. Where you just get bells, and eventually... And then Tom Nook just takes all your bells so that you can get to the next. Damn you, Tom. They should. I wonder if Tom Nook's going to be a character in Smash Brothers. He would just take your weapons.
There you go. New character introduced. A new challenger has appeared.
Tom Nook. What does Tom Nook do? Oh, he just takes every weapon you have and he uses it for himself. Oh, Link, you thought you had a sword. Well, my sword now.
It'd be great if they kept his noises from the GameCube version, so that ha 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 noise came in.
Oh my god. Yeah. That. Oh man, that's paid DLC. That's just good. That's a moneymaker right there, Nintendo. Just do that. He can team up with Meowth, and the two of them can just ruin the economy in the game.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh my god. That's just more Smash Brothers characters. I want Banjo and Kazooie. But Rare doesn't work with Nintendo anymore, so it's not happening. Sorry. Can I have Odd Job from GoldenEye 64? Oh no, that was Rare. Okay, never mind. All my attacks just go right over his head. It's gonna be fun.
What happened here? What?
Yeah, of so many things that I wanted, that was not something that they put into Ultimate. Who would be your ideal fighter in like a Smash Brothers game, Alex?
I don't know. I don't really play Smash Brothers, Nathan.
Well, if you had any kind of like Smash Brothers, like it could be like PlayStation's All Stars or whatever, but if you had a character in a video game that you could put into like a battle royale style game like that, like a fighting game, who do you think would?
All the ones
work?
I have in fighting games are already in fighting games. Like Dante.
Well,
He's already got his own games.
Oh, that's
Same with Kratos.
Mm-hmm. And they put Geralt from The Witcher in Soul Calibur, I think.
Yeah.
And they put.
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they put them. And but
honestly, though, Soul Calibur, I don't really consider The Witcher a fighting game.
No, but you know, if you've ever played Soul Calibur, it's a lot about the weapons.
I have not.
Okay. Soul Calibur, it's a lot about the weapons because you can upgrade weapons and get better ones, and they do different things in the hands of people that can wield them. So, considering Geralt had a pretty large armory of different kinds of weapons, it kind of makes sense. I think that's why, like, Link made sense for it when they put him in it.
Got you.
Or, Yoda. I think Yoda and Darth Vader were in it because you could get better lightsabers.
Oh boy.
But yeah,
lightsabers can get better because plasma blades have different properties.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they always have different well, I mean, if you played KOTOR 2, you can.
I was being facetious, Nathan.
In KOTOR 2, you can upgrade your lightsaber with different kinds of focal points.
I was being facetious, Nathan.
I don't know what that word means, but
I need more booze for this.
you should have thought this through before you jumped on stream, Alex.
Should have grabbed another like.
Facetious is a great character to use for a fighting game. What was he in? Yeah, unfortunately they put most of them into actual games. I'm trying to think. Oh no, you know what?
Game library.
I was gonna say Ratchet and Clank, but I think they were in PlayStation All Stars. And then
yeah, the Dragonborn. They should throw the Dragonborn into
Spyro.
Smash.
Or just throw the dragon in. That would work.
Parthenax.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Just throw Parthenax.
Alduin.
Know who they should really throw into? Smash?
What?
Buff Suki from
DLC. No. Just Monica.
Just a buff Natsuki.
Just Monica. Always Monica. That's got to be a thing.
Nothing but Monica.
Nothing but Monica. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm trying to think through my catalog. Well, you know, actually, if you were, oh well, I guess technically, I was gonna say like the characters that were in Borderlands would actually make good characters in a fighting game, but then I started to realize technically Borderlands you can just play as a fighting game.
I mean, you could always just put Shell from Portal in.
Yeah. And GLaDOS, you could have a whole arena that was Portal based. Oh my
mean-
god, a Smash Brothers arena that was Portal based where you like go off one side of the screen and you get portaled to the other side of the screen.
No, you have to add Shell in so she can do that. Someone's coming
Oh,
at you
yeah.
and you just shoot a portal in front of them.
Oh my god, that would. Oh, and you put the other portal below the platform so they can't get back up. That would be
No,
great.
you just do it in the sky. That way they fall to the ground and take damage.
Oh yeah, that's true. But
You
the whole.
have to be able to see where you're pointing your gun, Nathan.
Oh yeah, I suppose I would just
See,
try.
I mean,
to
they have the Wii Fit trainer, so they can just use her model and change it up for the portal. For Shell.
for Shell.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I didn't. Shell had like an actual character model though. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks strikingly similar to the Wii Fit character.
Yeah.
If you look it up, they don't look too far different now that I'm thinking of it.
Yeah. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, of course, while we're at it, we might as well put Gordon Freeman in there. You can have the.
He's a
gravity
scientist, not a
manipulator.
fighter.
Did you ever play Half-Life and Half-Life 2? I think he knows his way around a crowbar, and he can do
That's all he
plenty
gets.
of
He pulls it. He's freaking scientist in a hazmat suit. And he pulls a crowbar and just goes.
Yeah. You know, the thing that always made no sense about Gordon Freeman to me is, yeah, no, he's a scientist. And it's like, there's so little time in that game where he is a scientist. And a lot of time in that game where he is shooting everything. and
He ain't just a scientist, he's a BAMF. They hired him in here as part of the security detail and the science detail.
Can you blame him though? Hey, they're aliens. I am either gonna learn how to shoot this quick or die.
yeah, pretty much. But
I mean, as a scientist, he probably should have tried asking them questions first.
here's a questionnaire for the
I'm
Combine.
an engineer, and as an engineer, I would have gone, nope, shooting first.
How fast
You would
can
have
I
gone for the
shoot stuff?
crowbar as an engineer. Look at all this leverage I can get. Wham!
And you could finally give Gordon Freeman a complete story.
There you go.
Yes.
You don't like those 20-year froze naps?
They could have just put that into Smash. You know, because they have story modes for Smash, right? So if Gordon
Right.
Freeman was a fighter in Smash, yeah, they could. It might actually be satisfying. Lord knows that Valve's not going to do it, so you might as well have somebody handle it. Man. Now I just. want
Also,
Gordon
welcome
Freeman.
back, Drunk Wall.
Glad to be back. Would have taken less time, but no, it wouldn't have.
No, wouldn't have. Did you have to go to the store?
No,
Oh, okay.
I had to do with other things.
Other things is okay too.
Is Eevee still on the head? Is Eevee still like perched
So
up?
the best part about Pokemon Let's Go is debatably best part is the Pokemon you choose as your version doesn't and can't evolve.
But it's
So-
Eevee.
Yeah, why would you
yeah.
want
The Pokemon defined by its ability to evolve cannot evolve.
Why would you want to keep an Eevee? That sounds pointless. Like they're
But-
useless on their own. They are great evolved.
But in the game,
The benefit is
Eevee can like learn everything, right?
yeah,
No.
that's the benefit is the Eevee in that game can learn a lot of
Yeah.
cool moves like
Oh,
electric,
okay.
fire, fairy, whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, Alex. In Let's Go Eevee, if you have that version, Eevee can actually learn moves from every elemental school.
I mean, Eevee can normally learn moves from pretty much every.
Yes, but you have to evolve them so that they learn that.
Right.
Some of them
This
depends on
Eevee
moves.
can learn like these very special, specific weird ass moves.
So you can be like, so you can have a fire move and water move and like a grass type move if you wanted to at the
Like,
same time.
Your Eevee can go. You can say, "Hey, Eevee, go use Z Thunder Snuggle," and it will.
Oh,
And
man.
I kind of wish I was kidding, but I can't remember how much I'm kidding.
That might be a real
remember if
thing.
Thunder Snuggle is a move right now, but it sounds pretty legit.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. It's just slightly off.
Well, I'll look up Z Thunder Snuggle and see if that's a thing. If the cops
I
come to
can't
my door, there's a reason.
Do we have recorded evidence of why this is happening? Otherwise, sorry.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, I'm gonna keep drinking whiskey.
you know,
Sounds good to me. I was gonna go get another drink.
the first thing that actually comes up is something from Bulbapedia, but it is not Z Thunder Snuggle. It's Stoked Spark Surfer.
Must be an Alolan Raichu thing. Yeah.
Let's go, Eevee.
Yeah,
Moves.
Z move.
That's Pokemon Go.
There
Fuck
are
you.
there are Z moves. I know that there are Z. Okay, so
If I
Z
wanted
moves-
to play Pokemon, if I wanted to play Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, I would play Pokemon Go.
yeah,
But I like
Um,
my random battles.
yeah. Well, the thing that intrigued me about Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu is you can at least see the Pokemon before you fight them.
But why would I want to do that? I can do that in Omega Ruby. I can sit there and I
No,
can search for Pokemon on the grass and then sneak up on them.
You can sneak. You can. Yeah, it's kind of nice that you can pick what you want to find, but it is interesting to have the basic overall thing of there's two Weedles over there, there's a Pidgey there, and that trainer has that Pokemon standing over there on occasion. The trainers for the most part won't, but it's like, oh, that's interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I like the Omega Ruby thing where it's I can sneak up on Pokemon in the grass and I can search for them specifically.
Yeah.
I like
Okay,
that.
I have a list here. The list of Eevee moves are Bouncy Bubble, which is a water type move. They all have the same damage of 90, or power of 90. The water type heals for 50% of damage dealt. Buzzy Buzz is an electric that causes paralyze on hit. Slizzy Slide is the fire type that always
Jesus.
causes burn on hit. Glitzy Glow is the psychic type that creates reflector that has special damage dealt. Batty Bad is the dark. God damn, I want to stab the namer of these things. Batty Bad is the dark type that creates reflector that has physical damage dealt. Sappy Seed is plant an HP leeching seed on target. Freezy Frost is an ice type that resets all stat bonuses on Pokemon on the field. That's actually a decent move. And Sparkly Swirl heals ally status effects, and then VV Volley is varies power, normal type move. Power changes depending on friendliness, never misses.
Mm.
I mean, that one sounds good. I assume you're going to be very friendly with the Eevee you can't get rid of.
Yeah. It's the return for a Pokemon you can't ignore. But actually, Freezy Frost. Oh no, not Freezy Frost.
Whichever-
Freezy Frost.
Whichever punny name you've got there.
They're all terrible. They're all
you-
terrible.
So one of my friends I hang out with has been playing this game called Ni no Kuni 2.
Oh no.
Oh.
What do you mean, oh no?
Well, I
don't know.
played the original.
Did you?
I did play the original Ni no Kuni.
I've
Wrath of the
never
White
played
Witch.
it. I
How
just-
punny was it, Nathan?
Oh, you mean Mr. Drippy?
I mean,
Yeah.
everything. All the names of all the characters.
just-
And all the
I would-
higgledies.
I was too busy trying to beating my head against a controller because of the combat system to think about it, Alex, to be honest with you. But yeah, I guess it was that game that thought, hey, let's do real time combat with lists to figure out what your moves are gonna be.
I don't think the combat system is that bad. I think Tracy's been
Oh.
enjoying the combat system.
I
but,
would hope they
but,
improved it in the second. Yeah.
I think they might have. There's a lot of kingdom management stuff too. You can build a kingdom.
Oh, good.
But
and the
yeah,
ending
those
of
those names. Oh boy, those names. You got your dog folk, and they're like, and then you've got in your cat folk, whatever people, and like, there's one little cat folk that looks like a lion. His name is Longmane,
yeah, of course.
and that's
Yeah.
one of the better ones.
Yeah,
It gets
no, I
way
can tell
worse.
that's like the mildest.
Yep.
I'm sitting there. She's playing her game. I'm sitting there on the couch, going, "I'm going to murder all of these writers."
Yep.
She's
Yep.
like, "What's wrong, Alex? It's not okay." I'm like, "I'm going to murder all these writers. They're
Yep.
all dead to me. Every single one of them's dead."
I will
Just like-
personally harvest their organs and sell them on the black market in the least ethical way possible, just to disrespect them.
I played the original, as I said, Ni no Kuni, and the two things I got out of that were, I don't want to have to go through lists of potential moves while something is hitting me repeatedly, and that the ending of the game basically just has a kid coming to grips with the fact that his mother indeed is dead and he can't bring her back to life. So...
Well, to be fair, if you're in a
So-
world where magic powers exist, the first thing you're going to do is, can it solve my specific problem?
Well,
And
because the whole thing was revolving around like he's in a real world and then he like goes into this world of fantasy and he figures maybe in this world of fantasy he can find a way to bring his mother back from the dead because he blames himself for that. And at the end he just comes to grips with the fact that, oh, it's okay if she's dead.
to be fair, that's one of the few games that goes, no, she's still dead. He just has to come to terms with this.
Yeah. That
Most games will go, yeah, no, she comes back. This was all, yeah, she's alive, and that's how it worked.
It was like that and Max Payne 2, where at the end Max Payne just kind of goes, I had a dream where my wife and daughter were dead, but it was okay this time. And that's like the end of the game.
Okay, let's be honest. Nobody credited the writing of Max Payne 2.
No.
It was entirely the combat system.
And I did kind of like go, well, as a noir, that's great. And then they came back with Max Payne 3, and he's like a disheveled and broken man, and I'm kind of like going, well, that kind of undoes everything that he apparently went through character
Yeah.
growth in
Well,
the second.
we don't like talking about Max Payne 3.
No. I played it a little bit. I did not play it too much, though.
So I just want to go on this naming thing. One of the Gold Paw, the dog people, the lord of that kingdom is Lord Pugnacious, and he's a pug.
Okay, so this is where what happens when I enter a fantasy universe and I start a revolution, and I'm like, yeah, freedom for the people, and then I just cut people up and I go, okay, I'm good, you guys take over here. Why did you do that? Well, I couldn't let these puns stand. Y'all are good now. Have fun. I don't care what your system, but establish a dictatorship. I don't care at this fucking point.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a better list. Here's a list of the citizens you can get. There's someone whose name is Nubish. There's a cat named Floyd. There's a tabby cat named Tobias. There's a cat that looks kind of like a tiger that's named Tiger.
Wow, they
there's a
just
cat
got
named-
lazy at a certain
There's a
point.
cat named Furnist. There's a cat named Grampus.
Honestly, my naming of my character in this Pokemon game has been better because every once in a while I get a What are you doing? Or, Oh, it's you. I just hit I just because I didn't feel like naming it. So every once in a while I get the your Pokemon are amazing.
These gold paw are amazing. There's one newbie. There's one that looks like he's wearing like a dog hat. His name is Bow Wow. BAOWIO. There's the lion looking dude that's name is Longmane. There's a dog named Fido.
Of course.
There's another one named Yappy. Bygone.
So what you're telling me is, if
Minty.
we look at the credits here, we have a list of targets.
Yeah, we
Yep.
have a list of targets.
Yeah. Hey, put that in
There's
interactive.
one of
I
the-
want to look at it. I can't find
Do
it.
Do you really?
Yeah, put it in
He
interactive.
doesn't, but you're gonna do it to him for
Do you really want to look at it? Because
Yeah, I
you've got
want
it.
to. I want to look at it. I want to see. I
Oh
wanna see
god, I'm
this.
poisoned.
There you go.
For-
Is there a cat named Percy?
I did
No,
not
that
see
was
one
me.
named Percy.
No, it was Percy. That was my character's name. Percy. Percy Jackson.
Remind me.
Right.
What do you live in, northern or southern New Hampshire?
Yes.
I live somewhere toward the middle.
You're in
actually.
northern New Hampshire.
I guess
Okay,
it's
you're-
technically northern.
You're like in
Middle
northern.
northern.
I'm in the
Okay, okay,
mountains.
yeah.
I'm in southern.
I am also in southern, so I'm just wondering how far I need to travel to kill you.
Too damn
Wait, you're in New
far.
Hampshire too?
Yeah, I'm about 50. I'm 50 minutes from the border, and that's because the highway that you enter the state from is like lateral from me, so it's 15 minutes from 93 or 495.
I didn't realize you were in New Hampshire too. This is crazy.
It's
I think I
crazy,
told
man.
You guys that
You might have mentioned it. My memory is terrible, however.
That's fair.
No, I'm over in Rochester.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's within driving distance for a murder.
Yeah, most places are in driving distance to New Hampshire. Less than 3 hours to get across the
Specifically
state.
for a murder.
Well, you know,
Well,
worth it.
Nathan's up in Freedom, so I can show you where he lives. You can drive here, and we'll
Cool.
go there and murder him.
Oh man. Well, you know, after I've seen this, I don't have much left to live for. Thanks for that.
You've been outpunned.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm trying to think back to the original Ni no Kuni and if there were like a lot of weird names in it, but I remember there were a lot of different kingdoms that were weird. But Wrath of the White Witch, yeah, it was a game. I remember that it was a game. And it had characters, and I wanted to strangle all of them just from their accents. Actually, no, that's the thing I remember most about Ni no Kuni is Mr. Drippy and his terrible Scottish accent.
Sounds about right.
And he was like a little he was supposed to be one of the fairy people, but he was like a little short guy with this really big nose, and he had a lantern that hung off the end of his nose. And he was with you the entire freaking game. He was like your sidekick. And he would constantly kind of go, you got me, Mr. Drippy! And I'm like, oh god, just shut up. Let me play.
Shut your whore mouth.
Yeah. You shut your damn player mouth. Damn it. Yeah, I did not. I was not a fan of the series. Let me put it to you that way.
I mean,
That's fair.
My friend seems to love it. I just kind of go.
Hey, you know what? They probably did a great job
that's
with the
fine.
game.
To
Yeah.
be fair, the game doesn't look bad. The writers need to all be shot.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that if you're gonna make everyone's name a pun, I can't take you seriously, and I don't care what sort of message or engaging mechanics you have. You decided to make everyone's name a pun, and I want to punch you.
Yeah.
This is why I can't play D&D with Nathan.
Everything
I'm
will
not
be a pun.
Everything is a pun.
Everything is a pun. That's why my Tabaxi was
Nathan,
literally named
Nathan, you're-
Percy Jackson.
Nathan, your life is a pun.
Yes, it certainly is.
And you know that was a convincing argument for why I never should play D&D with you people.
Oh,
No, just Nathan. Just Nathan.
just
I'm
Nathan.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll kill your characters.
God damn you people.
I'll apparently kill your characters. Nathan's convinced I just kill fucking characters.
From all the stories you have of killing off your player characters.
All the best stories are when they die.
Well, doesn't that say so much?
They need to stop dying, yeah.
Oh my
Listen,
god.
you don't want to challenge me to that.
To dying?
You're gonna be like, yeah, just don't die, and I'm gonna show up with the most annoying hill dwarf, tough feet barbarian, bear totem barbarian, who you're just gonna be throwing shit at and be like, why won't you Die!
No, that's fine. I mean, I don't kill them. They get themselves into situations that they shouldn't, and then they die as a result. We've talked about this before.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to go attack that boar. It looks a little tough for you guys. You don't really think you can take it. No, we can take it. Here's some poison. Well, all right, whatever. It's you guys' funeral. Then I rolled
I like doing
a
that.
crit.
I very frequently am the tank of the group. So every once in a while, it goes. The DM goes, that's probably not good. And I go, yeah, no, fuck that. And I walk away, and the entire party goes, well, that's our tank. And the best hit die the rest of us has is a +1 con to a D8.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
Huh. Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't go in.
Right.
Just let him kill it by himself.
Yeah.
I'm playing enough fighters where it's fighters and barbarians and paladins where it's possible.
Do a barbarian paladin.
I have yet to do that.
Barbadin? Palabarb?
Palabarb.
Palabarb. I mean, you'd basically have a holy barbarian.
You played the zealot barbarian, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, you couldn't do that in 3.5 because you couldn't be lawful as a barbarian or chaotic as a paladin, but I don't see why you couldn't do this.
Alignment restrictions are dumb.
Yes, especially for paladins, because I view that as you are going with your god's alignment. So, like, the way I've always viewed that is paladins take a sacred oath to their deity, so they can take any deity they want and become a paladin of them. They are just lawful to their god's code of conduct.
And the real problem is that if you force a class to be lawful good, you're open to a DM's interpretation of what's lawful good.
Right.
I'm open to my deity's interpretation of what he finds lawful good.
Which
the greater
is
world
fine.
may see him as chaotic evil, but man, do I love starting fires, and so does my god, so this is good.
Yeah, as so long as you align with your god, that's fine. I
that's-
played a chaotic evil character who thought he was the greatest person alive because he was totally helping everyone by doing the despicable acts that he did.
I mean, as long as he made his god happy,
His god loved him.
who's to say he's wrong then? Gods
Fucking
don't.
Talos was like, yeah, keep destroying these villages and destroying these communities. Keep it up.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're doing good by me, and everyone else is like, no, and you're like, my god says I'm doing good. What are you guys trying to tell me? God is wrong?
Why did you immediately attack these villagers? Well, my god said they were evil. I mean, you were right, but why? God said so.
I'm on the level with God here. Please leave me alone.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm on the phone with God.
I'm only alive because of these deific powers, and so are you. So if you're gonna start questioning it, I can take my heels back.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's the meanest thing to say as the cleric. Just, I can take the heals back if you want. I can just cast inflict wounds and reopen that.
Just hit him with a mace. Bam!
Yeah. Well, to give you an idea of the kind of character that I make, I'm currently playing a giant glowing turtle that is a ninja.
Teenage mutant turtle.
Yeah, he's a teenage mutant ninja turtle. He's a shadow monk. I made him the least stealthy character imaginable. I named him Rembrandt, and so Rembrandt is like just kind of like this very I imagine him as like this kid that grew up in like a mountain temple, and the world is kind of new and interesting to him, so he's fast. He loves to have these adventures and have fun. Like we found what was it, a deck of playing cards that were wrapped in leather on one of the corpses, and like that was the treasure for Remy. He was like, jackpot. He's like, and they gave him that. No, I don't want the coins. We were in negotiations with somebody to take care of an ankeg problem, and they're talking about like what thousands of gold is for the reward and stuff, and Rembrandt just kind of goes, and if I could get that really cool set of dice in the parlor, that would be really great. And so
dude, I just want some dice.
I just want the dice. So there was a thing early on in the game like in the first few where we got to the beach, and Rembrandt loves the beach, and he wanted to try surfing, but he didn't have anything big enough to actually go surfing on. And so when we get to the Ankeg lair, there's a queen. And Rembrandt immediately starts thinking, like, as the queen dies, oh, wait, that back carapace would make a really great surfboard. I gotta make sure to pry that off the Ankeg queen before she slips back into the hole. And one of our characters is like a halfling barbarian, and he's holding on to this thing to keep it from slipping back. As Rembrandt tries to rip this carapace off the back of the Ankeg queen, and it doesn't quite release, and I'm like, okay, I would like to use my bonus action to use an unarmed strike to try and detach the thing. And Dom's like, all right, go ahead. And that didn't work. And I think I failed badly. And Connor, who was our halfling, had to make a strength check just so that he could hold on. And I'm like, no, I am really... seeing Connor's resolve, I shall try even harder. And I used Flurry of Blows so that I could try and detach this damn carapace. And I critted. And so...
I want this goddamn surfboard.
I'm like, I want this surfboard. Like, while everybody else is worried about, like, all the drones coming at us, and so it's like, nope, Rembrandt really... But see, joke's on them, because by the end, I had used my rope. By the end of the last night's session, I was able to use the rope and this queen's carapace, which I now had in front of me, to fashion a sled that I used to get everybody down into a deep hole, because I could pulley them down on top of my giant Ankeg queen sled. And so I'm like, haha, they called me crazy, but now look at what we have.
But look at me now, using slow fall to save your fucking asses.
And at the end of this, I'm going to have an awesome surfing adventure with this thing.
There you go. You're just gonna be toting that around you.
Oh, yeah.
The best.
I mean, Chitin is fantastic. My druid and the half orc bard and my druid had gone up against some remoras, and we took the Chitin off the remoras. Matriarch to make myself armor from.
Yeah. Turtles don't actually get bonuses from armor, but I did imagine, though, that if it's big enough to be a surfboard, it would make a pretty sweet shield.
Yeah, but I don't think you're proficient with shields, but whatever.
As a monk, I think you could do it if you were using... If I use my quarterstaff as a one-handed weapon, but I don't want to.
You shouldn't be using a quarterstaff in general.
I love my quarterstaff. Are you kidding me? It's awesome. No. Why? What should I be using?
No. I missed back in 3.5 when you could make a monk that ended up swinging bastard swords as fists.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Your fist damage would end up being 2d10.
Oh my god.
Per hit.
Because, like, my unarmored strikes are pretty good at level 5. It's like a 1d6 for unarmed strikes.
Yeah, no. In
Plus
3.5,
5.
A high level monk.
Yeah.
A high level monk was going, hey, so my fist goes through your magic and your damage reduction from magic and anything else, and adamantine and it's based on like alignment and he goes, also, not only does my fist go through that damage reduction, my fist is like swinging a pair of bastard swords at you.
Right.
That's a decent fist.
Yeah. 2d10 is gargantuan damage. Like you'd be out damaging your fighters way far.
Yeah, the monks and the brawlers and the martial arts die in Pathfinder and such, and 3.5 is just so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If a little bit too ridiculous, still such fun.
Well, put it this way. Your monk is your thrown weapon.
Yeah.
Monks can't... It's not just the fist of a monk that's a weapon. Their entire body is a weapon. You pick up the monk and you throw it at the enemy.
They spin, it hurts. No one goes home happy.
Yeah.
Except the barbarian who threw that and goes, hey, you see that?
You just got to get a pair of manacles with like a 10-foot chain between them. and just spin your fucking monk around.
The funniest part to me is I've been the fastball special on more than one occasion, but the main time I did it was when I played a gnome barbarian.
Oh Jesus!
She
I
was
kinda-
vicious.
I kind of wonder if being a monk barbarian that specializes in unarmed combat would be really fun.
It would be.
I could do that in Pathfinder Kingmaker next playthrough. I do.
Just do it. Do it.
Yep. I'd start off as barbarian for the hit dice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those rage powers and just being able to rage and then getting the fist damage and like the immunities to poison and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I would have to take the barbarian path of the invulnerable rager. I think
Oh.
that way he would get a mad amount of damage reduction, not have to wear armor.
That's cool.
Brutal.
I mean, I like the fact that my turtle is just like, you just have like a 17 AC, just naturally, and yeah, I don't have to wear anything. So that's pretty sweet. Because then I realized my running speed, because I have no clothes on, essentially is 40. 40
You have
feet.
no clothes on. You're naked.
I'm a turtle. I have a shell, so.
Take
That
your
counts.
shell
Oh,
off.
you're talking about D&D. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah. No, my running speed in real life.
It's like 5 feet.
But see, Alex,
Every 6 seconds.
Alex, I did realize though, like the next character I have to make is going to be an Aarakocra druid, so I can be literally a drop bear. All I have to do is fly up and turn into a bear and drop down on people.
Excuse me, that is my thing, not yours.
No, it's going to be my thing.
damn.
I'm going to make a character specifically for that one purpose.
No, that is my thing. I turn into a spider,
finally
crawl
get
up on
into,
the
like-
ceiling, and then drop down as a bear.
I finally developed characters that I can consider playing that use dexterity, and y'all are doing drop bears on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Or be
Nathan
a
gets
drop
that from
bear.
me. I was doing that in my campaign. So they're stupidly they put my druid into jail, and
That's fun.
druids that shapeshift don't give no shit about manacles. Let me tell you what. I was
You're
biding
under
my
arrest.
time.
Okay, this is adorable.
And not to mention I was like a dragonborn anyway, so it's like you're under arrest. It's like you realize I literally breathe light. But I wild shaped into a tiny spider, crawled up the wall of the cell, out the cell, and then was like looking around to see if I could find a way. And then down the hallway, some other character, I guess, that was supposed to be introduced during that session was being trying to bust my buddy out of jail. It's like, and all the guards saw him, and I saw him. It's like, oh, well, I'm above the guards, right? My DM's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. I'm letting go from the ceiling, casting, turning back into my normal form to cast Soundburst? Think Soundburst. AoE centered on myself. And then right after the words of that go from my lips, I'm turning into a bear. He just starts laughing. He goes, all right, so you're jumping off the ceiling, casting Soundburst, and then turning into a bear as your bonus action. I go, he's like, all right, roll up damage for Soundburst. I'm roll it. It's like, all right, so the first half, so Soundburst outright kills half the 11 guards to begin with. You land on the remaining guards that are still alive and kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Splat.
Splat. And then I started eating one of the guards' arms because they were dicks and they didn't give me any meat for the last week I was there.
To be fair, people get hungry.
I was a bear still. I was like, nom, nom, nom. And they're looking at me. They're like, is he friendly? And my buddy's like, yeah, I think he's just hungry. Just leave him alone for a few.
Yes.
Is he friendly? Yeah, he's probably just hungry. Let him maul them.
Yeah, they were all
What's
dead. And I
wrong
was
with
like,
that?
fresh meat. Because my druid's thing was he wouldn't eat meat unless he helped kill it. Because just
Well,
how
in
he
this
was.
case, he didn't have to help.
Yeah, he killed it, and technically they're meat, and he was hungry, so it's just like nom nom nom. I'm a bear, nom nom nom. It was fantastic.
Brilliant.
I was like, how much XP for the 11 guards I just killed?
Yeah, right. I'm a bowling ball. Why? Because these pins are getting dropped.
Drop like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like hot. All the pimps in the crib.
So when I
Pimps in
become a
the
drop
crib.
bear, so when I become a drop bear, Alex, and that becomes my thing, and I steal that from you, we still cool?
What edition are you using? Out of curiosity.
5e.
Okay, if you're gonna use 5e, get that dex save dex save because yeah, if you don't, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, it depends on the height you're from, but the guards definitely cushion my blow. Also, I was only like a 15-foot ceiling, so it wasn't that far.
But you're an air croca, so you can fly. You can fly enough. So
Yeah. That's what I was
make sure
thinking.
you don't drop your wild shape because you dropped too far.
Right. Yeah. Like, since I'm so new to 5e or being able to play Dungeons & Dragons in general, a monk is great for me because basically I know pretty much what I'm gonna do every single turn.
I punch them in the face.
I pretty much just try to punch things in the face as hard as I can. And good news, turns out that
works.
if you have a strong enough turtle, you can do that pretty effectively. You can get between your quarterstaff attacks and your claw attacks, you can. I was able to take out like I was able to take out one of those Ankeg pretty much by myself. Like, it really was not too tricky. Luckily, we did have a priestess who was able to cast a guiding light on it, so I was getting advantage.
There you go. That helps.
So
That does a decent amount.
oh yeah, that certainly does. Yeah, because my strength is at 20, so I have a +5 modifier for my strength attacks. So
Which is like the highest
wow.
your stat can go in 5e.
yeah,
It is in fact the highest it can go in 5e.
Which is ridiculous, but I understand it.
yeah,
It makes for a situation where your characters have a limited number of stat bonuses, and those limited numbers don't make someone inherently stronger. Because some classes get a little bit more, and that doesn't mean that these guys can get a 24 and you don't get it. Fuck you.
right, right, exactly. Yeah, my strength is really high, and my constitution and my wisdom are, but I decided, yeah, my dexterity sucks, and I'm a monk, so.
I've played a strength-based monk, and it did not work out for me. But I also multi-classed, so that was probably my problem.
Oh, I get you. Yeah. Well, I'm also supposed to be like a stealthy ninja because I'm Way of Shadow, and so
What level
I
are
think
you now? Did you get your shadow step yet?
No, I'm level 5. I think
Oh.
at level 6 I get Shadow Step.
Yeah, you'll be sneaky. You'll just shadow step, and then you'll murder people.
You'll just appear and deck people.
Yeah.
I
You'll
mean, I
be
told you before, if you mix that with your
short-term.
3rd level rogue to get the assassination perk, it's brutal.
There is the one problem though where literally my character, because of the way I decided to describe him and everything, technically counts as a large character, as a large creature, and he glows. I made that part of his narrative, so he glows green, and because he got into this magical ooze when he was young.
You show up and they go, where did this green glow come from?
Yeah, exactly,
Right
exactly.
before he headbutts them and kills them.
Exactly.
I
It's this sort of,
Yeah.
what? Dead.
Yeah. No, I had made it pretty clear, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's neat." That since he is a mutant, he grew a lot faster than he was supposed to. So I describe him as being like 7'2" and 1,001 pounds. So he's just and glowing green. So he is very noticeable. He's the most noticeable ninja you will ever see.
To be fair, this is a this is a bipedal turtle.
Yep.
It's not exactly subtle.
Right.
No.
Now the interesting thing was I sat here and I thought, so basically most of my shadow abilities are not particularly handy. However, I found out that in many ways, actually, you can still use them very effectively. Like, we had a thing where the other characters in the party were like, we want to be stealthy. We want to try and get up on people really, really quickly because we're meeting people on the road. We don't know who they are. A couple of them are going to flank around to the side. And I was like, well, I'm not stealthy, but I do have pass without trace. And when I said, oh yeah, I think I might be able to help you here, and they realized that now they got plus 10 bonus to their stealth checks because I cast pass without trace, they were like, oh, your stealth abilities are helpful, aren't they? Just to everybody else.
I've done that as a paladin.
Yeah.
It's a great diversion, though. They're going to focus on the guy that's not stealthy.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing an Earth Ganassi paladin, and he has his pass without trace ability. So we showed up at a place, and I was like, okay, there's clearly someone on the other side of this ridge. I'm going to cast pass without trace to make sure we survive this and can make it to the other side. And of course, everyone's like, oh, okay. I'm still wearing heavy armor with disadvantage. I'm still not stealthy. We make it over the ridge. We all manage to pass our saves just enough, and I go, hey, what's that down there? DM describes someone getting attacked and brutally murdered. Well, the people behind them go, no, don't do that. He's so da, da, da. I'm like, oh, well, that's a shame. Shame I used my stealth ability when I'm about to run in. Wait, what? The entire party ended up having to roll perception checks to see where they noticed me charging in on. And because I had the plus 10 to stealth, they didn't notice soon enough.
Where'd he go? Oh, there he
Wait,
is.
where's the man made of rock? Oh, he's all the way down the hill, punching those birds in the face.
Birds
Okay,
deserve to be punched in the face.
they were evil era Krokra.
I mean,
Oh.
they look like crows anyways, so
They
why
were
not?
they were Charlie's Angels.
Oh.
I'm not kidding. Their boss was named Charlie,
Jesus.
and they got really pissed at this literal angel for claiming to be an angel because they were Charlie's
The angels are
Angels.
named Erica, thank you.
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels, and we're all just sitting there like, if you weren't the DM right now, we would physically assault you, and we're still tempted.
Yeah. Yeah. Dom decided to make a character called Too Fast, and I asked him if he knew a character called Too Furious, because of course I did.
I was really hoping that it was going to be Too Fast because he had some coins on him that made him help do decisions.
No, it was a she, and it was TUFAS. It was like one word. Too Fast.
Too Fast.
Too Fast. But then again, like every time it turned around and there was a chance that I could put something in, like when you named the butler Alfredo, I'm gonna ask if I can have fettuccine, and then after I do that, I have to make the thing that got me a point of inspiration, where I explain, where Remy just kind of sits there and kind of goes, "Hey, did anybody ever notice that like pasta is what happens when bread and soup have a baby?" And they liked that so much, they gave me a point of inspiration. So I have that now. He had just gotten off of a giant bread kick, that he was just eating way too much bread, and they had just given him soup. And so then he got pasta, and he thought to himself, "Hey, this is like bread soup."
That's an oddly specific dietary strangeness.
Well, yeah. I mean, he has all of these new foods that he's trying out because I think he pretty much just ate rice when he was in the monastery. And he's in the temple. I don't think he had a very varied diet. So they put him in like... Well, see, the thing is...
I've had weeks where I ate mostly rice. That didn't fuck me up.
It's not...
More than I am, but hey.
But see, what happened is, like, on like, the first session or the second session... he ended up sleeping in one of the inns, but he can't have like a regular room because he's just too big to get up the steps. But they hold out the bread pantry for him. So there's like this smell of bread and there's like breads all over the place in this room. And when he wakes up, they've gifted him with this giant basket of bread. And so from that point on, he's like on a bread kick. Everywhere he goes, they meet a cult. He asks them if they have bread. Do you have bread? And then
Let's get this bread.
Good day, kids. Let's get this bread.
yeah, it's
Damn
like
you for beating me to the pun.
yeah.
Fuck.
Sorry.
It's fine.
I have millennial friends. I'm technically millennial too. I have Gen Z friends.
Mhm.
I think I'm still technically a millennial.
I'm technically,
I'm technically a millennial, just I'm older for a millennial. Because
I'm
I think
24.
I'm
Oh.
31.
I'm 36, and technically, since I was born after 1980, they lumped me into the millennial category.
And this is why we don't trust generational divides.
That's why generations are
There's only one
meaningless.
real one generation, anyways, and it's the baby boomers. That's the technical only generation, anyways.
No,
And that's only because they were all born in a point where nobody cared.
Yeah. The only generation that actually matters is Generation Pepsi. Sponsored by Coca-Cola. No,
Sponsored by Coke.
I'm
What was I saying? Oh yeah, all angels should be named Erica from henceforth, just for the record. Oh,
Why?
now I found my name for the celestial warlock I want to make.
Okay.
Well, my friend Mallory wants to play D&D with her boyfriend, and maybe my son. We'll see.
oh, that'd be
And I
fun.
wanted to make a healer because it's gonna be three of us, and Nikolai's gonna play a ranger, and she's gonna play a monk, I think. And I was like, well,
Oh, neat.
I should play something that has spell casting ability because we don't have a caster,
Mm-hmm.
and something that has a healing ability because that would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, celestial warlock. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Now, but who's gonna run
And now
this?
it has to be named Erica.
Oh.
Her boyfriend Tamlin.
Oh, neat. That's cool.
So that should be fun.
I want to play whatever can do that move Earth thing that I've heard so much about.
What about Move Earth?
So I was watching a thing where they were like, this is like one of the most underrated spells in D&D is Move Earth, because if you use that effectively, you can really screw up your enemy's tactical ability.
I mean, I'm gonna do that anyways with Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, but the thing, there was a thing they did. They did animated D&D. They have that series, and they were talking about Eldritch Blast and the damage. But then they were kind of like going, "Oh, it's the same damage as a heavy crossbow." Okay, because it kind
Not
of
later
is.
on. Not later on.
Well, at the start.
I
Does
mean,
it get better? Because I thought that spells pretty much are the same.
No, spells don't. Spells, a lot of the cantrips that you get in 5e and a lot of the spells that you can get that are attack spells level up with you.
Oh, well, that's handy.
Yeah, so at level 5 with Eldritch Blast, you get 2 blasts, and then if you take the whatever special ability warlocks get, you can add your bonus ability damage to that.
Yeah.
Whereas normally spells are just flat damage.
Yeah.
Except
You
there
can
are
add your
certain
charisma
spells that
bonus to your
grow with
spell.
you.
So Eldritch Blast is a ridiculously powerful spell because it's got a range of 120 feet base,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a ranged touch attack, I believe.
Eldritch Blast is just a range attack.
Just a range attack, just a ranged spell attack. Okay. So 120-foot range. All right, that's good. You can double the range with an invocation that you get. You can add multitudes of effects to it with your invocations that you get, including adding your charisma bonus, which is your spellcasting stat, which you should have as a warlock. And then, as DC was just saying, at 5th level you get 2 bolts. You get to fire it twice at different enemies if you want to.
Yeah.
So
You get to make 2
every
attacks for an
several
action.
levels,
Right. Yep.
yeah, you get to use it. Fires off 2 bolts, then 3. I don't remember what it caps out at, but I think you can at least get 4. So you're rolling 4d10 damage, but of course you would roll for them separately.
Right.
But still, if you get the invocation that lets you double the range, you're shooting 240-foot range spells at up to like 4 enemies.
That's okay.
It's brutal.
Do you need anything specific in order to cast that, or do you just cast that?
You just need to be a warlock or take the feat that lets you take a warlock cantrip.
Oh, they have a feat for that? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, there's a couple of feats that let you take cantrips and spells from other classes.
Ooh.
Which is honestly, if you just wanted Eldritch Blast and a couple other cantrips
Yeah.
from other classes, you could make a really brutal class.
I wonder if I can do that as a monk. I don't think I can. Because I'd have to. I
I
imagine
mean,
it
you
has
could
to be
take a
spell
feat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
At level 8, you could take a feat instead of a stat increase.
Oh yeah. I guess I could. But
But I don't think you want a warlock cantrip as a monk.
who
I
knows?
mean, you could if you
I'm
wanted a
quirky.
rage attack, but it wouldn't be very
It wouldn't really.
like-
It really wouldn't mesh for his story. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense for the character to do that. It makes more sense to try and see if I can max out my Constitution and Wisdom because I'm pretty close.
There you go.
That makes a lot more sense for him.
Brutalize it.
Yeah, because that's pretty much as he is described by the rest of the party, he is a punch turtle. That's
Punch
pretty much what he does.
I mean, I think there's a way warlocks can channel their Eldritch Blast into a melee attack too, isn't there? Or is that taken away? I know
If there is, I'm not familiar with that. I'm
it
not
used to be
aware.
Hideous Blow. I think it was 3.5. You could channel an Eldritch Blast through a melee attack instead. It was
Yeah, that-
brutal. It's like I'm gonna hit with my weapon and boom, spell damage.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't believe that's currently a thing.
That's probably a good thing it's not a thing if it's not, because brutal. Very brutal.
No one's.
It was fun.
Dog? No, that's my laundry.
Mostly.
It's not a thing, it's my laundry.
I heard a rhythmic thud, 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 and I went, "Is that the dog on the glass?" No, that's just the laundry upstairs.
That's the SWAT police.
I would have seen them.
That's true. You would have heard
They're
the helicopters
swatting you.
well before
Well,
they
no.
knocked.
So the interesting thing is, I have the risky move of my actual computer is in the room with the biggest window that faces the driveway. And on one hand, people go, you really want to do that? And I sit there and go, I'm not going to do anything on this computer that someone entering my driveway would be concerned to see.
Yeah.
But I can also sit here and go, there's light in my driveway. The fuck?
I mean, you could just get curtains.
I can. And that's the thing. I'm fine with having this be open enough for people to see, because all they're going to see is, standard, acceptable human internet browsing. Totally acceptable human internet browsing.
Me playing Dark Souls. Ah!
I don't rage enough for people to get concerned, thankfully.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, my policy in Dark Souls is, clearly I wasn't patient enough. I'm going to get a bigger weapon and smack you.
Yes, that's what I do in general.
Yeah. My policy in Dark Souls is to not listen to any of the comments that are actually in the game. Because because people are assholes.
I mean, don't listen to any of the comments about you, but do listen to the concept of, hey, there's other places you can go, and hey, there are elemental damages you can utilize.
Yeah, well, I went to a cliff face, and there was like a little hint on the bottom. It's like, try jumping. Okay.
Oh, the player-based messages you should ignore.
Yeah. Because then I just fell off and I died, and I was like, literally, I was like, you guys suck. You suck so much. Putting these stupid mesh.
I think the first time I saw one of those, I went, oh, okay, this game likes to kill people. Mind you, that was in Demon Souls, so.
Oh, well, I hated Demon Souls.
I only played Demon Souls because I had a friend who just was absolutely obsessed with it. So I went to his place. Actually, I was living at his place at the time. Yay, exchange programs.
Mhm.
And he was absolutely adept. So we played. He got me to play a level 10 build that was designed to brutally murder noobs. It was
Hmm.
because Demon Souls did not take weapon ranking into account, so you could have a plus 10 dagger, run up to a motherfucker, roll around him, and backstab him for all the damage. The
Great.
best thing he did was when I was playing, I kept stabbing the enemies because out of panic.
Mhm.
This other new player goes, "Oh, you're here to help me. You're a weird person. Got it." And he's just like, "You're red and helping me,"
Hmm.
because he didn't realize that I was invading to kill him.
Hmm.
We got him. So of course, we continued to help him. We backstabbed enemies because they wouldn't attack us. We cleared the entire place. Got all the way to the boss room. He's about to walk in. Backstab. And then my friend goes, "Okay, we're gonna send him a message. What is it? Welcome to Demon Souls."
Brutal.
Yeah, man.
It was perfectly mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I tolerated Dark Souls for a while. And and then you get to those like parts where you're like, well, that was cheap, and I don't like that, and I don't want to do this again.
It's
Like,
not cheap.
Fuck you.
It's a payment. That's
no,
just him.
no, I'm gonna tell you what was cheap. When I go along the parapets, and there's this dude, and I know I've been dealing with this one dude, and I've been trying to get by him, and I'm going back, and I'm trying to do my dodge rolls, and I hit him, and I kill him, and I'm super happy, and somehow another one has chased me all the way around and starts smacking me in the back just as soon as I kill that one. And by the time I can get my bearings and turn around, he's killed me. And of course, then you respawn, you lose all your souls, and they're all back to their original positions. And I have to go back and I have to try and kill this thing again. That's the point where I was like pretty much done.
Anna Orlando is a bitch. I think it is the for Dark Souls, at least it is that ultimate point of frustration where each little element can easily tip someone over the edge.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, on one hand, this is very well designed to be challenging. On the other hand, it's a bit much.
Well, and you get used to something and you're like, okay, this is something manageable. And then for some reason, something weird happens and it just screws up all of your logic. I went to like those Forgotten Gardens or something like that in the game. And there are those giant statues and they come up and they look really powerful. But you start to realize it takes them so long to actually like get an attack ready that you can basically kill them before they attack you. Like you could basically just slash them a few times and they're dead. They're done. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I know how to handle these guys. I just have to get in real quick and slash at them and they won't be able to hit me beforehand. Great. So I go up to one of these levels and I see one of them. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to sneak up to them and I'm going to take care of them. And two of the bushes turn into monsters and start attacking me as this thing goes up. And as I'm trying to like reposition, there was another statue too. And that activates. And now I have these two giant statue guards and these two little shrub monster things with claws that are all attacking me at the same time. And when I was really just trying to prepare and plan for this one guy in front of me, and I died. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to go back. And I start going back.
Thanks.
And I go back. And I'm like, I'm going to avoid the other rooms. I'm just going to go straight to where I died. And I go past one of these little cul-de-sac rooms that I've dealt with before. And instead of the monsters that only used to peek out at me when I was right in the room, they've decided that, oh no, they are here to play. And they jut out at me while I'm in the actual like corridor and start smacking at me. And I'm like, you didn't do this before. Why are you doing this now?
Bitch.
This doesn't make sense. This is not consistent.
Yeah, the aggro range on things in Dark Souls is definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Though I will say the worst thing for me in the sort of balancing aggression is the Silver Knights who go, I see you're running up a precarious perch. Clearly, I must do the thing that only trolls would do and shoot you off of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yep.
I need to head out for the night. So y'all have
All
a
right.
good night.
Good night. Good night,
Good night.
Paul. We'll see
Continue
ya.
to be frustrated by Dark Souls.
Yeah, I shall.
Mofo.
I'm gonna totally do that. Good night, Paul. Oh man. Yeah. No,
I can't say Dark Souls is something I ever want to do. I look
Yeah.
at it and go, I'll get frustrated. Why do I want to put myself through it? I don't.
It's just the From Software line of products for me has been something that I know people that love it, and that's nice for them. But for me, it's not fun. And if it's not a fun game, I don't really know why I'm trying to play it. And and it's that kind of thing where it's not consistent. Like, you can try to get through the same area multiple times, but things are not the way they were before. And it's all set up the same way, but because the enemies have like kind of strange AI where all of a sudden after you've defeated them, now they're like super aggro and they're just going to start wandering around. You can't plan, and you can't like make plans about how you're going to deal with this very difficult game. And it just becomes a real headache to actually play. There's some nice parts, like when you finally defeat that boar that has a giant helmet on, and then you get his head to wear as a helmet, and then I'm just going around the game in a giant metal boar head. I'm like,
yeah,
that's great. I'm cool with that. But then when you realize you're still dying all the time, it's like, Boarhead, help me out. Nope, sorry, not gonna help you out at this point. So
I depended on you, Boarhead.
Yeah, and you let me down, damn it. Yeah. So I mean, I tried Demon Souls. Demon Souls is just a brutal game, though. It's the thing I can say is that Dark Souls is definitely not as hard as Demon Souls. And that's probably why they revamped a lot of things. Like, Demon Souls is just evil, basically. It's an evil game. It's not just that it kills you and drops all your souls and kicks you back to the beginning. It's like literally you don't get to save basically any of your progress. And as you die, the phase of the moon changes and the enemies become harder than they were the last time. So
that sounds lots of fun.
Yeah. So not only was it hard before and you died, no, you know what? Fuck you. We're going to make the enemies even harder this time. You enjoy. And it gets into a loop where you're just like, well, I make absolutely no progress and somehow less every single time I do it. I think I might not do this anymore. Yeah, Demon Souls was just terrible. Luckily, they didn't have that phase of the moon thing when they got into the new Dark Souls game, so it's better, but it's still that whole thing. I was actually really looking forward to, like, Darksiders 3, because I like that series. And then I found out, they made Darksiders 3 into a Souls-like game. So, yeah, you're playing Fury, and, you lose your souls when you drop it down. Every Darksiders game is like canonically a version of something like the original Darksiders, where you play war, was essentially like Legend of Zelda, but in a Darksiders universe.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the second one, Darksiders 2, was really more like a Diablo, kind of like where you could get loot and you could get like better weapons and armor as you went along, and there was rarity classes. So it was sort of like that. And that was when you played Death. And now you're playing as Fury. And they were like, this time it's a Souls-like game. You enjoy. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I think I might sit this installment out. Fury seems cool, and I like the idea of bosses that are all based on like the 7 deadly sins. Is what it is in this particular thing. But
I'm one of the 7 deadly sins.
yeah, well,
Probably sloth.
That's definitely you. But I liked it as a concept. Like Darksiders as a series is a really interesting series. It is. And every game kind of plays a little bit differently, and the lore behind it is kind of cool. And it's sort of like it's about like the Four Horsemen, but not exactly the Four Horsemen, because you did have war and death in the first two, but it turns out that like their sister and their other brother are fury and strife in this one instead of pestilence and famine. Probably because they realized pestilence and famine are going to be very weird characters to build for an action adventure game.
Right.
So they were like, you know what? We're going to make a character called Strife, and he looks kind of like a gunslinger, and he uses guns, and Fury, and she has this like giant whip that she uses. That makes more sense. Let's do that. Let's change this up. So, like the whole idea of the storyline and that where they kind of trick War into riding off because he thinks it's the apocalypse, but the seal wasn't broken, so now he's in trouble, and he's trying to clear his name because they think he started the apocalypse.
He did the thing.
Yeah, War did the thing to start the apocalypse, and so the first game he's trying to like clear his name, and in the second game Death is trying to essentially clear his brother's name, and apparently in the third one Fury is somewhere around there trying to do an infiltration mission after War had broken the seal to help out her brother. Like the rest of the horsemen like got involved, like hey, you're screwing with one of us, you got to deal with the rest of us. So that's kind of what the series progresses as, like, yeah, no, the other three are not going to let this stand. Sorry, you're not messing with her, bro. We're going to get involved. So that's kind of what the series takes off on. But yeah, no, and for Darksiders 3, they were like, yeah, no, it's pretty much a Souls-like game. It's the same thing. You die, you respawn, you have to go back and reclaim your souls from your body after you died, and that whole thing. It's like I've played enough of the Souls-like games. I just don't want to do it anymore. And
we're gonna make a D&D style Souls-like game.
Oh God.
Uh-huh.
Well, that might actually be preferable. Like if I die, I go back to base camp and I have to go and grab my body again.
Oh,
yeah,
someone
you're gonna have
did
to corpse
that.
run it.
Oh, they did?
They?
Yeah, I think it was streamed. I can't remember.
Oh, see, I would be
feel
okay
like
with
that could be interesting for a D&D like setting.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it would be a setting. It'd be a different set of rules.
It would
Because
be a different
obviously, when
rule.
you die, you'd have to level up with the souls. You'd die. See, here's the thing, Nathan. One of those new show ideas we have. We can just turn Dark Souls into an RPG, like tabletop.
Yeah, there's an idea. We'll just make Dark Souls. Yeah, hey, there's a good idea for a Power Surge episode. We'll just turn
There you
Dark.
go.
We'll see what kind of Dark Souls game could you make it in the tabletop realm. Yeah. God, what would that game look like? Yeah, I guess
We can't do it now, Nathan. It's supposed to be
okay.
another show.
No, okay, no, we'll do it later. But see, I guess I don't mind that so much because the idea of permadeath in D&D always like worried me. Like I know they try to stretch it out so that it's hard.
It's
to
only
die,
permadeath if you TPK, Nathan.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, there's ways to get your bodies back because your party members are still alive. So you best be on liking terms with your party members.
Yeah, that's fair. Just unless you get a total party kill, and then everybody's just down for the
Total
count.
pebble knockdown.
Total pebble knockdown, indeed.
I mean, because honestly, a Deus Ex Machina is no fun.
It's not.
Oh, you all died, and no, God, no, fuck Nathan,
I love a Deus Ex
no,
Machina. I've
no.
played so many. Every game I play, I'm basically a Deus Ex Machina. Are you kidding me?
No, like I've had a DM go, "Oh, you guys all died facing those trolls, and some wandering person came by and resurrected you." It's like, no,
Okay, that's a little bit convenient.
No.
Yeah.
that's not convenient at all. They're like, oh, I just found your bodies and decided to resurrect you because I thought,
Well, I
now
like.
you know me. It's like, no, we don't. Bye.
Oh, interesting. Campaigns that are housed in another fictional universe are pretty cool. If you want, has built up a Dark Souls story. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go look at that in a second here. That's that's really interesting. I'm okay when you're like playing a game and you die in like a dungeon or something, and like you don't die, you just go unconscious and you end up outside the dungeon, and maybe you dropped your loot and you don't get to keep your loot from the dungeon. Like that I'm okay with. If that happened in D&D where it's like, okay, well, you didn't die, you got knocked unconscious and you're outside again, and you're like, you gotta go back and try to progress again. I guess that basically is Dark Souls.
No.
Or-
D&D, that don't work, Nathan. Oh, this bad guy that's trying to end the world is just gonna not kill you.
Well, but hey, you know what? That kind of brings us to the whole idea of save points. If you had save points in games, you'd be all set. I could just.
There was a D&D campaign I was in. It was 3, and our DM liked to do kind of crazy things, and he gave us a one scroll where we could basically save our game.
Mm-hmm.
And we used it, and it was like we were level 7, and I don't think we got to a point where we would reset. But if we ever reset, once we got to level 10, we'd go back in time to that point of level 7.
And then you can do it all over again.
Like, yeah.
Well, there was a thing in Adventure Zone, which
Adventure Time?
No, not Adventure Time. Adventure Zone.
Can we make an Adventure Time D&D setting, please?
Sure.
Like, for real.
We can do that, because that basically was D&D, right? I mean, it was kind of based on the idea of D&D, right? Adventure Time. There's like characters in a. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Anyway, in Adventure Zone, which was where the McElroys played D&D, and they had their characters. One of the story arcs was called the 11th Hour. And in that particular one, Griffin had set up a whole thing, which was basically, it was like Groundhog's Day. And they got to this town that was like frozen in a time loop an hour before everything collapses and the timeline resets. So every time they go in, they basically have an hour to try and figure out more of the mystery of why all of this is happening. And then at the end of all that, it collapses, they all die, and they go back to the beginning of the hour to try and figure out more of the storyline and uncover more of the mysteries until they can successfully, inside of an hour, fix what's wrong. And so in that moment, like, yeah, the characters essentially keep dying and coming back because they're in a time loop. The funny thing is their wizard, who was Taco, that was Justin's character. There's a point where Justin's kind of like, yeah, right now Taco, knowing that he's about to die and the timeline's going to reset, is just blasting off spells left and right through the town. He's just blasting off all over the place. He is enjoying the hell out of this right now. And I think they went through, because he had a rule, like, as soon as you know something as a character, you just know it. So we can fast forward through a lot of that, so it's not expository. So you've learned a fact, so now you know that fact. Boom, done. But I think after, like, I think it took them about eight rotations or so through that before they were able to uncover how to successfully keep the town from being destroyed inside of that hour. And good on them, because I would have gotten lost pretty easily. There's a lot to do, because you went into the mines, and then there's traps in the mines, and you get blown up, and you have to go back and you start the timeline all over again. And there's a giant worm, and the giant worm can eat you, and then you have to start over again. And
Well then.
but then they're like the very last time they went through it, he made it very obvious that this is the last loop that you can go through. So now it's on, and if the world gets destroyed, it's not coming back this time. So you better
What is
you
this?
better do it.
What did you
Well,
share,
that
DC?
was a good idea with having it limited like that for a
Yeah,
role playing game.
yeah,
That makes that better because you see that before, like Legends of Tomorrow had a really good time loop episode, but they could just keep doing it over and over and over again,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think adding that extra element was really a good idea for that format.
Well, yeah, there's a whole thing that he tried to do for a through line, which I really appreciated too, where like every time the world collapsed, they would see like this screen of white, and they would see this woman who was saying, "You have to hurry, you have to do the," and every time the world would collapse, she looked older and more exhausted, like she was running out of ability to keep this loop going. And so you're learning kind of about her, and so it storytelling wise, she was basically unable to maintain this from continuing at the end, which is why she's like, I can only get you back there one more time. Now that they had kind of learned enough that he was feeling like, yeah, they can probably figure this out, I can only get you back there one more time. So let's put all of your knowledge to the test and see if you can actually solve this problem. And they did, which is good because then the series would be over if they didn't do that.
Right.
It's like, well, the show would be over if you didn't do that. And they kind of uncovered like the mystery behind it, because there was a larger story about that's all linked into the character that they met in that white space and everything. And they did that. But yeah, no, basically it was Groundhog's Day, but for D&D, which I thought was interesting. There's actually there's a I played Prey, and there is a DLC for it that I didn't get to play because it came out after I was done with it, called Moon Crash. And that actually that's like a video game equivalent of that. You have like an hour to get off a station before the moon gets disintegrated, and if you don't do it, you rewind back to the beginning, and they have you do it. They like going, no, that ended in a fatality. Okay, let's try the scenario again, because they're essentially running like a VR scenario to see if you can actually do it.
Hmm.
And so they rewind the scenario over and over again. They say it was really awesome DLC. And I want to say that the one that was probably talking about it a lot. Oh yeah, actually, I can share this one. Can I? Can I? I think I can. This was actually a Kotaku article too. Where they said that it was actually so good that it was actually better, and it had like almost a roguelike element to it. Because I played the original
Nice.
game, and Prey was actually really good. But that kind of took that looping element to it as well. But save points in a role-playing game would be great. Alex, I want to save.
I'm looking through this Adventure Time D&D 5e homebrew, and while it's super unbalanced,
You still want it?
Hmm.
it is ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
I just found it, a few minutes ago, so I have no idea what.
Like the races are unbalanced because obviously you can't really play. You could play human, but in that setting, why would you want to play human? Like Finn is the human. That's it. Finn and Marceline, but she's a half demon, half vampire. And then
Of course.
Simon, who's also the Ice King. So
Mm-hmm.
no, it's you can be a lumpy space person. Oh boy.
That's a thing you can do? Sweet.
Yeah, have you not watched Adventure Time?
No, I have not watched
It's lumpy space. Lumpy space princess is a character.
Oh, okay. great. I'll take your word for it.
It's a fantastic show. Honestly, I
It is
binge
really
watched it. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that as a cartoon, it's one of those that has done the continuity. Things that happen in prior shows actually affect future shows.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of the old cartoons we grew up with didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it didn't have to. It's like I never assumed that like Power Rangers was gonna have continuity.
No, but I mean, as a cartoon, you don't usually expect that, or at least I didn't, because again, we grew up during a time when cartoons did not have continuity. Like
Right.
Rugrats, no continuity. They didn't ever age, nothing ever changed.
Yeah.
Like Finn gets his arm torn off at least twice in the series,
Hmm.
and it comes back twice, and he gets a mechanical arm
Mm.
later on. And it's like the continuity fits and it flows, and things that happen and events that happen actually. It's almost like you were playing a D&D game of Adventure Time, and things that happen have happened and continue to impact your story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's great. You can be a robot. Nice. I want to be a BMO. So BMO's the only BMO, so I'd have to be like an AMO or a CMO.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's nothing else aside from the races? I'm really sad right now.
I'm realizing that
Adventure Time Land of Ooh. Oh, it's just this is just the races, what a classes. I'm so curious.
I'm also realizing that Pendleton Ward is the same age as me. So
What have you done with your life, Nathan?
I didn't make Adventure Time. I guess that's something.
You did not.
No.
There's divine classes, clerics, paladins, barbarians, bard, medic or cleric, druid, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, scientist, sorcerer, warlock, and wizard. So they added scientist and they gave you a medic or a cleric.
Hmm.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's really neat. The show is really good, Nathan. You should watch it.
Okay.
That and you should watch Gravity Falls and Buy Gold.
Yeah, and I probably should have also watched Rick and Morty, but I just didn't. Sorry.
You need to get riggedy wrecked, son.
Yeah, no, the only like animated series that I watch is South Park. That's the only one that I've been able to do long term.
Yeah, Rick and Morty's fantastic. Gravity Falls is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a Disney XD cartoon, fucking right, it's really good.
Yeah.
DC, have you watched Gravity Falls? I know you said. I think you said you did watch Adventure Time.
Yeah, I haven't seen all the episodes of Adventure Time or Gravity Falls, but what I've seen, I both really enjoy them.
Oh yeah,
They're
I mean Adventure
very
Time is
good.
10 seasons, so that'll take a while.
Right.
Gravity Falls is only 2 seasons, so it shouldn't take too long. Gravity Falls is really good though, and Alex Hirsch is really good friends with Justin Roiland. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of crossover stuff between Rick and Morty and Gravity Falls.
Hmm. Interesting.
But Gravity Falls is for like children. So
Yeah. You're saying Rick and Morty isn't for kids? That's just ridiculous times.
I mean, if you depends on how you want to raise your kids, Nathan.
Badly.
That seems about right.
um. Oh, Gravity Falls isn't on anymore though.
No, it ended like in 2014 or something. It was only 2 seasons.
2015, yeah, 2015. Yeah. But it wasn't okay. It wasn't canceled.
Buy Gold.
Buy Gold.
There was actually, since apparently you haven't seen it really either, DC, or at least not finished it. After the series ended, there was a real world like treasure hunt that Alex Hirsch hinted at, which there was like kind of like an ARG aspect slash scavenger hunt type deal that took place in the U.S. And there was like a real life Bill Cipher statue hidden somewhere.
Oh, wow.
And people found that. So there's a lot of post show content he did with it as well, and it was really interesting. Because you've seen a couple episodes at least. The show is all about mysteries and, um, codes and hidden stuff like that. So it was really interesting for me to see that they actually went out of their way and did something in the real world having to do with it. The game theorist did it would be film theorist. Matt Pat and the film theorist did a really good episode about the Bill Cipher hunt or statue hunt and Gravity Falls. Like, I would advise watching that if you're interested. Although if you want to watch the rest of the series first, that would probably be better.
I remember.
Unless you don't care about spoilers.
Oh, okay. I remember that. I think on Game Theory there was another thing they did that was a real world ARG, but it was for Fortnite. Fortnite had done that.
Fortnite's done a thing too with the pinatas.
They put in elements from the game, and it was like before the season where like everything got warped around and changed or something.
Yeah, there's been a lot of recent ARG element like stuff going on with games and companies and transmedia.
Yeah,
and it's really interesting to me. Because I'm fascinated by ARGs, but a lot of the stuff that's been coming out also recently has been like really shitty Twitter ARGs.
Yeah. Well, you're saying like a
I
good
could find
version that you're saying that like a media that's worth pursuing has crappy offshoots that don't have merit.
I mean,
what are you
hold on,
talking
Nathan.
about?
I've got one for you right here, and if you want to read this on the air, you can. It's fine. This is one that came across I found on Reddit. It's a Twitter ARG because the Sun Vanished became really huge. I'm sure you've both probably heard of the Sun Vanished, yeah?
I don't know if the sun vanished or not.
ZC, have you heard of the Sun Vanished?
No, because it's still there when I get up in the morning.
Yep.
All right, so the Sun Vanished was a Twitter ARG that appeared like overnight and became like hugely popular. And it's not, in my opinion, it's not really an ARG. It's an interactive social media storytelling, which it's not the exact same thing as an ARG. It's alternate reality, yes, but it's not a game. It's a story. And even if you get to take place in part of like a choose your own adventure story, it doesn't make it a game. Games have other aspects to them, which is why adventure books aren't games. They're stories. So the Sun Vanished was really popular, but the one I just posted, man, I got 5 tweets in before I just was like done. Fucking done. Just completely done.
Yeah.
Like it broke all the immersion whatsoever. Well, I see you're on the go to the bottom. They don't have a whole lot of tweets. Okay. Go to the absolute bottom and just start reading up until you get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just go up until you get 5. Sure. No, keep going down, all the way down, Nathan.
This is as far down as I can go. I just woke up here. Where am I? It's so dark I can only see what the phone's like. Doesn't help much. I found a window. I can't tell if it's boarded. I like the fact that like none of these have likes. My hallways are seemingly endless. I keep hearing doors open. Is anyone out there? Is this just Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, it's someone who doesn't know how to storytell. The next one up, however, Nathan.
The last thing I remember is the date December 19th, 1967. What day is it? Wait, there was a reply. Someone replies, "It's 2018." and Escape replies, "It's been almost 51 years. That's not possible."
So I got to this tweet when I saw this, and I was like, hold up. Your first tweet is, I just woke up. Here I am. I just woke up here. Where am I? It's so dark. I can only see this phone's light. It doesn't help much at all. Found a window. I can't tell if it's boarded up or if it's night. Okay. The hallways are seemingly endless. I keep hearing doors open. Is anyone out there? The last thing I remember is a date. December 19th, 1967. What day is it? So let me stop you right there, Nathan. Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
You literally just woke up and the first thing you posted is
Twitter?
post on Twitter.
Yeah.
You're from 1967.
Yeah. Yeah. Gee, I see a continuity error here.
So let me get this straight. You just woke up, found a smartphone beside you,
And was
decided
like,
to
what?
turn it on, knew how to use it, knew
Oh,
that
yeah.
the internet was a thing and social media was incredibly popular, and posted on
Well,
Twitter?
well, the thing about it is, he said it was 1967. Maybe he was on shrooms. And he thought that the little device next to him was this magical portal to, like, Alice in Wonderland world.
This is like the epitome of just bad storytelling to me. It's like, I don't care what story you were gonna tell at this point, because after that fifth tweet, I'm just like, what? You're just like, yesterday when I went to sleep, it was 1967. What the fuck year is it? It's 2018. That's not possible. As I'm texting on a smartphone on a device I shouldn't know how to use, should be baffled by, should be like, what the fuck is this? This alien technology that I'm using. What? Someone being transposed 51 years would not know how the hell to open or function a phone or computer.
Oh, they'll figure it out.
And I was just like, what?
Yeah, I just love the idea that somebody responded back like, yeah, it's 2018. And
later on
like,
later on it was great. I was reading it yesterday because I saw it again. Someone posted about it and I was raging about it. And it was from December 29th. It was just, should I attempt death? And there's just a poll. It was yes or no, and one reply was yes.
Yes, I did see that. And I sat there and I thought to myself, what's really surprising is that Twitter, being Twitter, didn't spawn like 100 replies to those posts.
Because it's so bad.
But just to mock it, if nothing else.
It's just, wow. I'm lazy, and I'm not even lazy. Like, if you're listening to this and you like that sort of thing, good on you. But as someone who actually knows how to, like, can occasionally tell good stories and play games,
maybe,
and be part of games, it's
possible.
like, that is garbage. I am sorry.
Yeah. Now if they said I came from the future, that would have been good.
Then it would be like, why is this not connecting to my, like, global satellite network?
Yeah. That would have been something at least. But no, I don't know. I suppose that with almost any kind of medium, it is much more likely that you will do it badly than do it well.
Well, especially if that's how you want to tell stories.
Well, I suppose that is true. Hey, 61 followers. He's doing pretty damn well.
Yes, something like that. I will be right back.
All right, that sounds fine. Man, I don't know. This is why I'm always scared when he says, I'd like to do an ARG. It's like, well, okay. I feel like, either people really can get into these sort of things, or it just goes horribly wrong. I just never know how many people, like the ratio to and from, it's I don't know. It can't be that high, right? I don't know.
I have no idea on ARGs.
Yeah. I was never... Well, the problem is that when they started talking about, like, ARGs and all of that, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, creepypasta. And, like, those sort of stories. And I was like, but I don't like creepypasta, and I don't know why anybody would. I just don't. Sorry, I just don't understand the allure. And it's like, oh yeah, but it's like creepypasta, but it's like in the real world, and it's like, so like the Zodiac killer or something? Like is this like, yeah, it's like, hey, I have a serial killer in the real world. You want to find him? Here's a picture of where he currently will be. It's like, no, I had this much trouble when we had Pokemon Go getting people beaten up and finding bodies in a lake. This is not the ARG I wanted. I just wanted to catch a damn Pokemon. But that's a different kind of ARG that becomes another kind of ARG but unintentionally. But yeah, no, the treasure hunts and all of that. I mean, I suppose it's fun, but I don't really want to have to fly to China so that I can figure out what the next clue is. It's a big world.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the format varies and the different. I mean, other than, oh, I can hold up my phone and see the graphics in there, but
yeah,
and there's this other level to it. Like, I didn't know people did this on Twitter.
Yeah,
and things like that.
It's sort of the best way I can wrap my head around it is by thinking of like viral storytelling. You know, if you think about like viral video or viral media, using that same kind of format to build a story that is somewhat interactive for people that are viewing it. But I mean, it's a cool concept, and I understand why people started doing it, because when you have such a great medium like the internet, the idea that you can kind of use that in a way to create a new kind of storyline is cool. It really is. But I'm one of those people who played Superhot, and in Superhot, there's this kind of subtext to the game where it seems like they're trying to do like an ARG thing in the game. Because every time you go through one of these scenarios, you're supposed to be in a program, and they're showing that, you know, superhot.exe and loading, and there's like these text messages between your character and these other developers who are making the game, but they're inside the game at every single juncture when you're playing Superhot. It's they're like giving you these messages that are all indicative of a much bigger story that you're not actually playing. But I couldn't wrap my head around but I just felt like it was very unearned through most of it, because I wasn't really enjoying the game, and it just became like an annoying thing that I had to figure out while I was playing the game. And I just didn't like it very much. So when I think of ARGs, I think of an experience like that, and realize I didn't like it. Oh, we were talking about ARGs.
The Superhot one?
Yeah, Superhot.
Oh, cool. You couldn't have waited till I was making a drink. I was making hot cocoa and put booze in it.
Oh, well, that's a good idea. But no,
It's got Godiva in it.
Oh, that makes sense. That sounds good. Now I want that.
It's delicious. It's so good.
I want that now.
Anyways, I heard superhot.exe.
Yeah, superhot.exe, which is, I played the Superhot on an actual computer, not on a not the virtual. The VR one is the exe.
Yes.
But the same general context of Superhot is that there's this other thing going on behind the scenes while you were playing the game. But the thing is that since I didn't give a damn about the game, and the game was so frustrating to play that I didn't enjoy it, I didn't give a damn about the subtext of it. Because it felt like they were just tacking something on because they realized that the game wasn't particularly enjoyable. Because the game really wasn't. Somebody enjoyed it. Somebody loved the idea. I know some people did. I think Yahtzee was actually one of the people that liked the game. This idea, hey, what if you had a shooter, right? You have a shooty game, but the game only moves when you do. It's like Frozen.
I mean, it's definitely interesting.
Move. Well, it's interesting until you play it, and you realize, one, oh wait, the game doesn't freeze. Actually, the game will still go in very slow motion even if you stopped. So that's not real. You can move and pivot your view without the world moving around, so that doesn't change. And you realize that basically this shooty thing that you're supposed to be doing is really a puzzle. And so it's really a puzzle game, but you're basically just destroying like these red crystalline characters, and there's this whole thing where it's like, okay, and I'm out of bullets. I have to reload, but as I reload, the bullets are coming at me. And so now I have to be able to reload and fire before the bullet comes to me. But I didn't see this other guy, and there's a bullet coming at me from this direction. And then I have to
fun fact too.
throw the gun.
In fact, Matt Pat also did a video about Super Hot because there's theories on that beyond the actual just the game.
Yeah, I think he was talking about the VR version, which was superhot.exe. Because there's a hacky sort of thing to that, where your brain is supposed to be getting hacked while you're playing the game or something like that, and it's like, it's great.
It's interesting. So why you're still talking about ARGs? I think they're interesting as hell.
See, what I was saying to DC was that when people bring up ARGs to me now, the thing that my mind immediately goes to is creepypasta. Because there's sort of an element to that. But I don't like creepypasta.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah. But it's like, but it's creepypasta in real life. So basically, it's like, imagine if you had like a serial killer, but in real life. Wouldn't that be fun? No, it would not. It would not be fun. Let's like I was saying a second ago. Like, imagine, like, it's called the Zodiac Killer. Let's have a Zodiac Killer mystery with the Zodiac
you mean
Killer.
Ted Cruz?
Yeah. Well, if that's supposed to be some kind of mystery, it's not really working too well. It's just, I'm still not sold on the appeal of it because I don't think I've seen a good one yet.
Well, that's because the good ones are like not the ones that are apparently
right,
like going out of their way to draw attention to themselves.
Yes. On the one hand, I appreciate the idea of like viral storytelling, which is kind of what I feel.
Only if it's good.
Only
if it's good.
I appreciate it as an idea. Let me put you that, because I like the idea that they're using a new medium like the internet, where you can do these things that you couldn't do before to tell great stories, and they're trying to make it out of it. But again, it's sort of a new idea, and so usually in those early stages, it's not particularly good. Almost every media has that, though. Like, in early stages, it's usually not great.
I assume you've heard of Cicada.
Oh, you mean the Flash villain from Season 5 that they're in right now?
What?
Yeah, in Flash Season 5, the new
Flash villain.
Yeah, from Flash, Cicada.
No.
He got burnt by the Metatech, and so now he has to breathe through a respiratory mask, and he has a lightning bolt that he can steal people's powers with. That's Cicada.
No.
Yeah.
Cicada 3301, Nathan.
Oh, how silly of me! Why did I think of Cicada? Please tell me about Cicada 11011.
3301. Thank you.
3301. Oh, I was going binary.
The people still really aren't sure, and it's really been unsolved. Cicada, like, I'm just on the wiki page. It says Cicada 3301 is a nickname given to an organization that on 3 occasions has posted a set of puzzles to recruit codebreakers linguists from the public. It started in 2012, and it's pretty much still unfinished, and it's interesting, and people aren't sure if it's real or if it's like a ARG puzzle game. or if it's as it says here, it's been called the most elaborate and mysterious puzzle of the internet ages, and is listed as one of the top 5 eeriest unsolved mysteries of the internet.
Mm.
Many have speculated that the puzzles are a recruitment tool for the NSA, CIA, MI6, a Masonic conspiracy, or cyber mercenary group. Others have claimed that it is an alternate reality game. No company or individual has taken credit for it or attempted to monetize it, however.
Okay.
This has been around for 6 years.
Wow.
Nobody has any idea who made it. And it's interesting as hell.
Cicada 3301. Okay, I'm looking at it right now.
There are people have come forward and been like, yeah, I got really far in this thing, and I was this group contacted me, and they're like people that are focused on like cybersecurity. But it's hard to tell if those people are just like saying that or if they did. Like, you can believe them or you cannot, and people do.
Oh, I see. It's to recruit highly intelligent individuals.
Maybe, you don't know.
Well, it says the stated purpose of the puzzles each year has been to recruit highly intelligent individuals.
I mean, not stated by the person who posted them.
No, but stated on the wiki page, so I guess that's a thing. Resolution. Anonymous individuals have claimed to have completed the process, but verification from the organization was never made. The individuals claim have not been forthcoming with information. First puzzle was claimed to have been solved by Marcus Warner.
I love that you're on stream and you're talking so quietly to yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to figure out if any of this is useful. It's not. Those who answered satisfactorily at this stage were invited to a private forum where they were instructed to devise and complete a project intended to further the ideals of the group. He did not finish his work on a method of general decryption, and the website was removed. Liber Primus. First
the book.
Yeah, the first book. Many pages which need to be...
The book is unsolved. It's full of fucking codes, and no one knows how to fucking decipher it.
Maybe because they're not codes. Maybe they're just gibberish.
It could be gibberish, but yeah. Anyways, the point is, Cicada, for instance, is super, like, well-known, apparently, except for you guys. And it's thought to be an ARG, but it's also thought to not be an ARG. But no one's come forward saying it is or isn't, which makes it a really interesting aspect if it is an ARG.
I feel like I'll put it on there if everyone's like, what the hell did they talk about on this episode? The thing that gets me about all of that, though, is, and I guess it's the same problem that I have with, like, I guess it's the same problem I have with creepypasta and stuff like that. It's like, I could just come up with anything and just verify it. And just...
See, this one, for instance, isn't really a creepypasta. And it doesn't go out of its way to be like, oh, I'm creepy and edgy. It's just, it exists as it is. And people just are speculating, which is really interesting because there's a lot of speculation on what it is.
So... it's one of those...
But, like, yeah, I agree. Creepypastas, like Marble Hornets, for instance, or Slenderman, there's a lot of stuff dealing with that stuff. And it's just, oh, I'm being creepy and edgy to be creepy and edgy. Yeah. It's like, that's boring.
Yeah, it's just, I think you can... I was actually thinking of this thing the other day, and I'm just going over a page because I'm trying to think if this is what I was thinking of before. But... if you really want to, people can read a lot more into stuff than you should if you are that kind of person. Like, it was kind of the thing I had that kind of just totally unsold me on what was that game I had to play? Doki Doki Literature Club, where it's like, oh, well, but if you go into the files, there's codes in the files that allude to the thing that's going to happen to the, and it's like, oh, great, now I got to have viral puzzles in the files of my game. No, this is not a, thank you.
Again, when they're well done, they're good. The problem is there's the escape dream I showed you. The problem is it makes a slew of imitators come out of the woodwork and go, oh, I want to emulate this thing or try something like this thing. They don't want to be creative, or they don't want to be they don't want to try and make new things. They just kind of want to take what they did and try it for themselves without having the skill set or the knowledge set to make it. And it comes off as lazy. Like the last thing I remember was December 19th, 1967.
For the record, the thing that I posted in Interactive was the experiment that I was thinking about earlier today. It's the Rosenhan experiment, or the Thud experiment. But to kind of give you an idea of how something that could have been really simple and straightforward can go completely off the rails. They basically, nutshell, this is how I understand what happened, is they had a group go into a hospital, like a psychiatric hospital, and the only things that they experienced is saying things like empty, dull, or thud. Like, those were the only things that they were giving as cues. So really the people at this hospital were not aware that this was an experiment or anything like that. And pseudo patients included psychology graduates. So these are people that kind of study this for a living. And what they found is, like, not only were they not trying to actually help them with anything, but they actually started to feel really dehumanized by the entire process, because people were reading a lot into this, and thinking, well, maybe there's some kind of psychosis here, and not going through the obvious things that were kind of like right in front of their face. And it uncovered a lot of problems in the system that we have. But that general idea that sometimes a cigar is a cigar, that whole thing. Sometimes just like a mystery that's been put there to be a mystery might just be put there to be a mystery.
Sometimes the mystery isn't a mystery, and sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just overimagine.
Yeah. It's possible. I suppose that's why people enjoy them. I mean, because you never really know. But
you never unknow.
You never really unknow. But it's just how people perceive information is very odd. When it's given to them, like, you can, like, if you had 100 people and they looked at a blue sky, some people are gonna say it's red, and you don't know if you don't know if they're saying it's red because they actually perceive it as red, or they just want to be divergent and say that it's not a thing that they obviously know it is. You don't really know those answers.
I mean, even if they see it different, I assume we all have learned at this point that when we see the sky, we say it's blue because we've been ingrained that color of the sky is blue.
But
so even if you perceive it differently, unless you're just a dick.
Well, yeah, but here's a thought. Just mind palace this with me. You have 100 people.
Mind palace.
Yeah, no, I'm doing the Sherlock Holmes thing. Mind palace. Imagine this. You have 100 people. They all look at the sky. 90 of them say that the sky is blue. And 10 of them, without any prompts, without any correlation between any of them, say the sky is red.
I think they're plants.
Okay, you think they're plants, but they insist that, no. And you look back, and you cannot find any correlations of them talking to anybody in particular. Like they didn't have common points of contact or anything
We
like
kill
that.
the non-believers.
Well, but here's the thing. That would be your reaction. I would just be like, oh, people are just full of shit. But then there would be a contingent of people who would look at that scenario and say, wait, maybe they can see the truth, and we've all been lied to that the sky is blue.
Illuminati confirmed. Sky is red.
Yeah, there would be conspiracy theorists coming out day after, like, the sky was red all along. They wanna cover up the evidence, man. It's we all think it's blue, but we've been programmed that way. And there would be a whole conspiracy.
We're not a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
We're not a cog.
Yeah, exactly. You know that would happen. Because it's just how people perceive information that they
Scientology exists, so
well,
so does that.
Okay, yeah, that is true. A lot of things exist, and many of them exist for the very reason that people perceive things in a certain way. Like, what were they talking about? Since we were on talking about game theory, film theory, I watched the new one where they finally got into the final death count.
Oh yes,
Disney
I
villains.
watched those.
And that thing where they talk about the Greek legends.
Oh yeah, how they were both supposed to be the volcano.
Yeah. But it's interesting. That's actually really cool because you think there were two different stories that were born out of one natural event. But instead of explaining it by the natural event, one is where a disaster just sinks the city, and it's a city underneath the waves. That was born.
And the other one was
way.
attributed to the Titans.
The other one was attributed to the Titans coming in and destroying the land, and so that has everything to do with how you perceive things. You can make up a story to explain anything if you want. And depending on where you are, you might make a different story. Like if you're near Crete and you see part of the land just sink into the sea, your story is probably going to revolve around a civilization under the sea. And if you're there and you see your buildings get destroyed after an active volcano goes off, you might assume that like a fire giant destroyed your buildings.
I'd like to be under the sea. In the Octopus's Garden?
With Sebastian?
Yeah, I went there. No, Octopus's Garden.
Who is Octopus's Garden?
A very bad Ringo Starr written song.
Oh, that. See, I thought you were going to start singing Under the Sea with Sebastian.
No, I was definitely referring to a very bad Beatles song.
Oh, okay. Talking about octopuses, did anyone see Aquaman? Because there's an octopus playing the bongo drums in that, and
I saw that.
Yeah,
I'm like that's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, I know. There were so many people that were kind of like going, "This movie doesn't make a lot of sense." There's an octopus playing the drums, and as soon as people were like, "There's an octopus playing the drums," I'm like, sold. I am sold on this movie. There are sharks with lasers on their head. Yes. Now.
I
Please.
enjoyed it. I didn't think it was fantastic, but yeah, the octopus playing the drum was definitely a highlight.
Oh my god, there's so much fun stuff in that movie. I was by the time they get to the last fight scenes, I'm like, holy crap, they're pulling out all the stops for this.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh god. James Wan. Oh, yeah, no, so many of the comments I had heard about that is like early on you see that one scene and you're in Atlantis and you see all the lights light up and you're like, oh wow, they must have blown their budget on this. And then the next scene comes in. Oh no, this is where they spent their budget. No, this one. No, it's this. No, they spent their budget here. Oh no.
They spent their budget on Jason Momoa's security detail.
Well, you know what? Jason Momoa needs no security detail.
Exactly.
He just punches things in the Yeah, that's where they saved all the money. Jason Momoa didn't need no security detail.
It's because he was bigger than any of his security.
Yeah, exactly. He's just destroying them left and right. They should. Oh man, Of course, the funny thing is like at the end of that movie where they're like showing, they're showing Black Manta and he's still alive and everything, and my mom was there and she was like, "Oh, I was hoping he would be that he died in the last thing," and I'm like, okay, it's Black Manta, and of course they were going to keep him around. Most people thought he'd be in the sequel anyway, so of course they're going to keep him around to be the big bad guy for the next movie.
I mean, yeah, he's a bad guy. He's always the bad guy. Bad guys don't die. That's just
right.
not what they do.
Well, if you're not familiar with Black Manta, or the fact that he was such a big character in the comics or whatever, Of course, I don't really know how they're... Like, by the end of Aquaman, I don't really see how Black Manta poses much of a threat to Aquaman. I don't. It's like all of Atlantis. I don't know. Can Black Manta, as a human, with some Atlantean tech, convince all of Atlantis to turn back on Aquaman again?
Right.
I don't really see how one guy in a cool suit is going to take on... Like, you saw the last scene, right? Like, it's...
Right.
all, like, this massive army of sharks with lasers on their heads and giant freaking krakens rising out of the depths of the earth and giant crabs with laser eyes and missiles on their back. Yeah. Well, no, Alex, when you see it, there is the final battle where originally Ocean Master is trying to get fealty from all of the different groups in Atlantis, and they go to the brine, which are like the crab people. And their giant tank is like this 20-foot tall just a crab that has like a missile array on its back. Some shit like that. And it's like, the brine is pretty sweet. I like these guys. These guys were loyal to the end.
I was never a big fan of Aquaman until he was in the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, that's cool, Aquaman. And then I didn't have a really good version of Manta until Young Justice. Otherwise, I always go to the Challenge of the Super Friends, Manta,
Yeah. No, I always just kind of felt bad for Aquaman. Because Aquaman was always kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the Justice League. Like, he always kind of had that appearance from outside the comics. It's like, yeah, you got Batman, you got Superman, you got Wonder Woman, you got Green Lantern, you got the Martian Manhunter, and then Aquaman is there too. And then
Martian Manhunter's not out of place being from Mars.
Well, yeah, Martian Manhunter was cool though. Martian Manhunter was super cool in most of the versions I've seen him in. But those characters all sort of made sense, and Arrow and Flash and all of them. But then Aquaman, what does Aquaman do? He talks to fish.
I mean, that means he talks to all the sharks in the ocean, though.
Yeah, and I don't think it was until they finally got him into, like, the big pictures where they could really explain that in great detail. Because I needed to actually see it, like, on the big screen to say, oh, yeah, this is a really powerful thing you can do, isn't it? And it's not that you can just talk to fish. It's like you're also really strong, nearly invulnerable, and command the sea itself. You command the ocean. And yeah, no, if you're essentially the DC's version of Poseidon, yeah.
King of the sea.
You're in great shape. You sure are. And actually, the storyline that they give of Atlantis is actually kind of like the story that they were talking about in Atlantis in the video. the idea that you had like this technologically evolved civilization, but then in the Aquaman version, it's a technologically advanced civilization that, because of their own, they fly too close to the sun essentially, and their technology ends up sinking them into the sea, and then they have to evolve to breathe underwater.
Wouldn't they all die before they evolved?
They think quick.
They evolve quick.
They think on their feet. Yeah, they evolve fast. Look, I'm not going to tell you that if you go to Aquaman, it's going to make any logical sense. Trust me, it doesn't. Basically, none of it does. I will tell you, it is really fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of great underwater stuff going on.
Oh my god. It's visually spectacular.
Yeah.
They did a wonderful job with that. It's beautiful the way they put it together. And it is a lot of fun. They have some great fight scenes. They have some great moments and stuff, but yeah, if you're trying to figure out if there's a cohesive storyline, we'll just go watch the other DC films and see how that fared. You know, just go and look at Batman v Superman. I don't know, or Suicide Squad, or like the third act of Wonder Woman. Like the first two, solid. Third act, yeah. You know, it gets a little off the rails toward the end. Still liked it a lot, but still great. They did a great job with it, but now with like with the direction they took, like Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and what Shazam looks like it's going to be, I really hope that DC just does that kind of movie from now on and stops trying to make like the Zack Snyder grim dark Justice League-ish kind of movies. It doesn't work well for me. It's fun enough, but it's just not enjoyable. It's too dark for the comic book style. The characters are kind of absurd in some ways, to be taken dead serious the way they were in like Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice and those movies. They were fun characters. They can be fun characters. You don't have to make them make those grand proclamations and have them just stare ominously at each other from across a room. Oh my god.
I will stare at you as long as I want to.
Yeah. Well, because they said, well, if you look at comparisons, Civil War has a lot of similar beats as Dawn of Justice. And it's like, yeah, I understand on the surface where you say that, but the difference is that in Civil War, these characters have a predisposed history with each other that makes their conflict actually feel like it has weight. And in Dawn of Justice, they don't. It's just Batman's heard some things about Superman, and Superman's heard some things about Batman, and they don't like each other, and now Lex is gonna pit them against each other, and one of them's gonna say save Martha, and the world's better now, and that now they're friends, and now they're friends, and we have to fight Doomsday, and yay.
And then one of them dies, even though we know he doesn't actually die.
No. Of course he's not going to die.
Yeah, let's kill Superman.
They've killed Superman so many times in the comics, I don't even remember how many times. But yeah, no. And he keeps coming back. He keeps coming back. That's how they do it. And
when I read that, the first Death of Superman in, what was that, 90s or so?
Yeah.
When they did the big one.
Mid-90s, yeah.
That was a big deal to a kid.
Yeah. And they were talking about who was going to be the new Superman, because there were like, I remember that 4-panel thing they did about like who's going to take up the mantle of Superman.
Yeah.
Good news.
Like,
it's Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. I felt like that was such a cop out at the end. I'm like looking at those 4 new Supermen, and I'm like, I don't know. John Henry seems cool. Maybe he'd be good. It's like, because this kid, super kid, seems like kind of a dick, and
It'll
Cyborg
be
Superman's
Crypto.
kind of evil.
It'll be
it's-
Crypto.
it'll be
It won't be
Crypto.
anyone else. It'll be the dog.
I would love it if it were Crypto, the super dog. It'd be like Lassie, but in the Superman era. What, Crypto? Jimmy's stuck in a well? Oh man, they should have brought Crypto into the Justice League movie. It would have been so much better. I really wish that was in Dawn of Justice. It'd be great. It would be great just saying like Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman finally get together and they're dealing with Doomsday. And then it's like, oh no, we've all failed. Crypto! And Crypto swoops in. And he destroys Say.
We'll just use Scooby-Doo instead and give him superpowers.
Oh god, I want that movie. Let's bring back Scooby-Doo.
It'll be Super-Doo.
It'd be Super 2.
Super-Doo.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. We gotta make that movie happen. The Scooby-Doo Superman crossover movie.
Yes.
Ruh-roh, Clark. You know,
I mean, they kind of did that with Challenge of the Super Friends.
They did? Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, they did. Because there was Penguin and Joker and Scooby Doo
God.
in the old cartoon, and yeah. And there was Dynamite and Blue Falcon and Dynamite were kind of the
Dynamite.
Oh my god.
That's a name. That's a name.
I want to see Scooby-Doo join Suicide Squad.
Scooby-Doo commit suicide on the Suicide
No.
Squad?
No, no, because I think his ability to, like, go after Scooby Snacks and Captain Boomerang's ability to, like, chuck them really far and bring them back to him would be a really fun thing on screen. Just like, well, no, think about how that works. Just like he ties the Scooby Snack to one of his boomerangs. And Scooby's like, Scooby-Doo! And he chucks the boomerang, and Scooby-Doo goes after it, and then the boomerang comes back, and Scooby runs back, you tricked me, Captain Boomerang! That would just be highly entertaining. It would give Jai Courtney something to do in a new movie.
Scooby-Doo like, oh, ruh-roh.
Yeah. You know what? I think Scooby-Doo could last a little bit longer than, what was his name? Slipknot? In that movie?
Yeah.
They're going to say Jared Leto as Joker.
We don't know if maybe he was Jason Todd the entire time. We don't know. Even though canonically that doesn't even make a lot of sense.
Oh, that guy. Blue Falcon is in Birdman, yeah.
Oh.
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Yeah, when they're doing the parody stuff, yeah.
Yes.
Oh
I
my
love it.
god.
It's great.
That's awesome. Man. Oh, so we're making the Scooby-Doo RPG.
No,
Good.
definitely not.
Making
It'd
the
just be a
Scooby-Doo
murder.
RPG.
It'd just be a mystery, a murder mystery.
Oh, perfect. I want that to be a murder mystery. Oh, Scooby-Doo Clue.
There you go.
Scooby-Doo, where are Clue? That's
Does
all
he have
you
a
need
mask
to do.
on? Yes, great.
Yeah,
Guess
Scooby-Doo.
who? Scooby-Doo, guess who?
You have a clue.
Scooby-Doo, guess who?
Colonel Mustard would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
I mean, we can play it.
Yeah, yeah. It is a playable model. Congratulations, we've already fixed our first episode of Power Surge, Alex. We just make Scooby-Doo. What would Scooby-Doo be? Oh, it's not a game. Sorry. Okay.
Oh wow, that's actually a thing.
Oh,
That's
really?
terrifying.
Yeah.
DC, that's terrifying.
Oh my god. That's wow.
It was Scooby in the observatory with a lead pipe for not giving him extra Scooby snacks.
Oh my god. They actually
How
made
rude.
this. It's scary that they actually did this. But this looks familiar now. And yeah, maybe this is what I was channeling a second ago. I feel like I might have seen this at some point.
Scooby-Doo, Clue, who are you?
Scooby-Doo,
Wow.
where are you, Clue?
They were getting a lot of money for this game. Holy cow.
How much are they getting for it?
Used
Well,
and new.
It's around, some people are asking for 100 for very good
Jesus
condition.
Christ.
And then new is 400, 500.
What? Christ.
Yeah.
Boy, don't you wish you had a Scooby-Doo clue board right now? Because I do. Who is the maid supposed to be? Is that the... Is that the ghost? No, that's just an old lady.
Ghost.
I don't know.
Why did they put...
Maybe they just like, well, we need an old lady. Okay.
Yeah, just
Put an
put
old
somebody
lady.
in. Probably Scooby-Doo's... Shaggy's aunt or something. Why is Scooby-Doo the Colonel? Yeah, why is Scooby-Doo Colonel Mustard? I don't know. I get Velma as Mrs. Peacock. And I totally get Daphne as Miss Scarlet. Why is Shaggy the professor?
Because he's smart as hell. He's just a big
Shaggy?
stoner. Shaggy's the richest person in that fucking crew.
What?
Shaggy is rich as all hell.
Is he? Is that
Yeah.
how he can afford all those Scooby snacks and weed?
I don't remember, but I believe he was left like an inheritance by his family. He's like,
Oh,
he
so
lives in,
he's
like,
the
a
one
mansion.
funding this expedition continuously?
Well, usually Daphne has a lot of money too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I thought
Scooby,
Daphne.
not Scooby. Shaggy, like, is way. Now I gotta look that up.
Well,
damn it.
you know what? Shaggy's got to have something going for him. It might as well be that. I have money.
Shaggy Rogers.
Because he never seemed like he had, much for smarts, or looks, or cunning, or really anything. But he has Scooby snacks and a van.
Let's see.
Which if that happened in real life, I'd be scared. I have Scooby snacks in a van. Yeah, no, sorry. Calling the cops. No, if you can prove to me that Shaggy was rich, I will be a happy man. I will feel fully enriched knowing that that is the case. But Dino Mutt,
Let's see.
Dog Wonder, I just wow, that's impressive. How did they get his boots on?
No idea.
Man, it's weird because
I don't
like
know, because Dynamite was partially robotic, so
oh, so maybe that's how they got his boots on. He just used his robot powers. It's
yeah.
Well, it's like when they asked, like, how does Snowball put on his parachute?
Right?
He just does.
It just happens. Accept it.
just
Move on.
happens. You accept it, you move on. Don't think too hard about this. This is the anti-ARG. Don't think about it too much. Just don't think about it. It's fine. Everything's fine.
And if you want some cartoon continuity, Dynamite was rebuilt from a real dog by Dr. Benton Quest, Johnny Quest's dad,
Oh.
because they were all Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and so they kind of did a little shared universe, loose shared universe thing.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's almost better than Flintstones meets Jetsons.
But that
No,
was
that's
in
nothing better than that.
that was in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. So
Oh, okay.
that wasn't necessarily the original one. That was just
Gotcha.
what happened later.
Gotcha. It has been so long since I saw Flintstones meet the Jetsons.
Oh, jeez.
I have not seen that. That was like one of the best crossovers, though. Did they actually meet? Yeah, they did actually meet. I think that they ended up in each other's timelines, or something to that effect. I'm trying to think. There was a show they did that was basically Flintstones meet Jetsons, and it was a reality show. And I know Jenny Nicholson did a video on it, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was like future and past, and half of the contestants were in like a futuristic house, and half of them were supposed to be in a caveman days kind of thing. And for some reason, they thought that was going to be proportionate to each other. No, it's not, because the one that's like futuristic is, warm and clean and comfortable, and the one that's in it's the caveman days is just like a stone slab you sleep on, and it's cold and we're freezing and we don't like this at all. And guess what? Which one we want to be on? We all want to be. And then they got like the one really strong dude that kept winning all the challenges. So the technologically advanced side kept winning constantly, and the other side was just miserable the entire time, and it lasted one season because they realized what a stupid idea it was. And worst, yeah, I can find it here. The worst reality shit. Well, I can at least copy it. I can at least copy the link address, because it is worth watching, because it is pretty terrific. I don't know how they got that show greenlit. It's just fascinating. What was the other one she did? Oh, yeah, the worst ghost hunting show of all time. Oh my god. But, Paranormal Home Inspectors.
I can't find it. I know I remember from somewhere that Scooby or Shaggy had money. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I think one of his uncles is rich. I know that much.
One of his uncles is rich?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Oh, okay. Well, at least his family is rich then. So... Oh, no, that's not... Okay. Man. Well, at least... I mean, I always felt kind of bad for Shaggy. So...
Oh, boy.
For the fact that, like, Shaggy is just Shaggy.
He's so shaggy.
He really is.
Because he's so shiny.
He is very shiny. He's a shiny
Also, I
cat.
just realized it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Is it?
It is 1 o'clock.
Oh. Is that a time?
It's a time.
It is a time. Oh, how nice for us.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It happens sometimes. It
yeah.
happens sometimes.
Well, then I guess what we could talk about is future planning for 2019.
Didn't we do an episode on that?
We did a whole episode on it, so we don't have to worry about it. I have new ideas for episodes for the YouTube channel, and maybe I can be the next girlfriend reviews. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Don't you need a girlfriend for that?
No. No, had you not? Did you get to watch any of the girlfriend reviews on YouTube?
No.
Oh, okay. It's not reviewing girlfriends. It's not that.
Okay, then you can do it.
No. This is like one of the most like crazy success stories I've seen on YouTube in a long time. 2 months ago, they started a channel, and this girl started a channel called Girlfriend Reviews. And it was about Red Dead Redemption 2. And she said she decided that she was going to do a video games channel, but it was not to review a game. It was to review the experience of watching her boyfriend play a video game.
Okay.
And yeah, now you see now you see the concept.
Now I see why it took off so much, because I assume it's ridiculous.
It is. Oh, she is hilarious. She is terrific. But that video, the first video they ever posted on the site, is over 1 million views. and they already have 100,000 subscribers after 2 months. Yeah, no, it's terrific. She's terrific. Yeah, they just did the Last of Us episode. They did a Dark Souls episode. She was like, yes, this is not enjoyable to watch. My boyfriend gets too upset screaming at the screen, and it is very intense to watch. I do not enjoy Dark Souls.
Is there actually like a boy in it too, or just the girl?
No, she's mostly just narrating it. She narrates the whole thing.
Okay. Like, I wasn't sure if there was like a guy that was actually there, and she's like, "Yeah, this is my boyfriend. He plays games." I'm just like, "What?"
They do. I guess that they had done a live stream at one point, so like he's been in it. Like they had developed the channel together. But I was super impressed by how fast they actually got successful. I'm trying to think. There was one. Oh no, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the one they did. They actually did Fallout 76, and it is so funny because they get to parts where she's talking about graphics, and she's like going, the graphics are terrific for 1999, but the fun thing is that the pop-ins and the errors and the problems with the game were really something that me and my boyfriend could bond over because we found it so hilarious. So it gets like a 5 out of 5 for graphics for being horrible. And it is the funniest shit. Oh yeah, should your boyfriend play Spider-Man? They had the Spider-Man one too. It's like, and then there was the part where you played Mary Jane, and I could even say I didn't want to come for the Mary Jane stealth mission. I want to play Spider-Man too. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, there was the one that was should you play Smash Brothers Ultimate with your boyfriend? And she just played Jigglypuff or something, and they kept beating up on her constantly. And she's like, this was not enjoyable as an experience. Oh my god. No, it was, I totally understand why it's, so popular so quickly as a video game channel, because oh yeah. Yeah, in Fallout 76, where she's kind of like going, remember when Todd Howard got up at E3 and did his TED Talk and told everybody about this new game? And I'm like, oh my god, he did! He did do the TED Talk! Oh my god.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
There you go. You
I'm
can
Todd
watch
Howard.
the Fallout 76. Yeah, it's a really enjoyable channel if you have not seen them. She has a lot of fun because they did a whole they did the thing about indie games, so she talked about like Celeste, Dead Cells, and Hollow Knight. And of course, as a passive observer, you start to realize that, yeah, Dead Cells and Celeste probably don't translate well if you're watching somebody play them over and over again. But she's like, oh, but Hollow Knight is terrific. It looks beautiful. You enjoy watching characters just get slashed into little bits all the time. It's terrific. But I did not like Dead Cells. And Celeste is a fun story, but if you're watching your boyfriend continually fall into a pit of spikes over and over and over again, it gets very stressful. And he was not enjoying himself, and that meant that I was not enjoying myself. But, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen speedruns on Celeste. Holy cow. People who can do that.
Oh my god, yeah. I have it, and, because
You seem unsure.
it was for, well, no, I have it because it was one of my games with gold for Xbox Live.
Got you.
So I do have it downloaded. I, however, have not gotten to play it yet, and it's a little nerve-wracking because I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, it's a platformer, and it's apparently a fairly hard platformer from everything I've seen. But I hear that the story's amazing and really good, and the characters are really well done, you know. But then there's the whole thing where you're doing a platformer that's very difficult, and you got to get through these levels very, very quickly. So I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy that part. But I guess I'll report back when I actually get a chance to play it, probably this week. Hopefully I'll have some better idea of that. Alright, yeah, so it is after 1 o'clock, and I've run out of things to say or talk about, which is amazing. Ooh! I have not heard of this game. Gris. I have not heard of this.
Looks beautiful, and it's kind of a platformy thing like Celeste, but I don't think it's quite as, spikes everywhere. But...
Oh, no, not spikes everywhere. I'll tell you, the one, I've probably... It's one that eventually I'm going to play. I still just don't know if it's worth... If I could get my computer to stream appropriately, where I could do an actual live play, I'd kind of want to do this game on it, because I think it would be fun to do on stream. But at the same time, it never seems to work out well for me when I try to do a live stream. But it's, oh, there's the Steam page. And I think we've talked about it on the show before. I think we actually talked about it when Ryan was on. But it's it is this game, which is a roguelite game called Rogue Legacy, but it's the genealogical roguelite game where every time you die, your child succeeds you, and every single child is unique. So if, like, one of your children is colorblind, the world is literally in black and white while you're playing that character. If you have somebody who has vertigo, it, like, switches the controls, or it puts the controls upside down. If your lineage is a dwarf, you're small and you can get through tiny spaces that other characters can't. If you have ADD, you go really, really fast around the so every single generation has different things about them, different traits, and so as you build through it, the game actually adapts to those characters for what those characters are, as you're building up sort of like your castle, your house, through these continuous generations and your skills. And it's a very acclaimed game that I just happened to miss the first time it came through in 2013, but it is one of those that has very positive reviews out of the 12,000 or so that gave him. And you get to play a lot of really interesting characters along the way, and do kind of like a little platforming game as you battle monsters and stuff. But yeah, Rogue Legacy is the one that we were discussing, the idea of lineage and going generation after generation. But this is kind of like more of a Dark Souls kind of version that I can deal with, because you don't really lose your progress from each generation. Each generation builds upon the accomplishments of the last one. So I don't feel bad because my progress doesn't get destroyed. And you just keep gaining skills and abilities as time moves on. So that's neat. And it's all kind of like a randomized dungeon thing, because it's rogue-esque. But that's one that I was thinking about. Might be fun to play on stream, so I'm never sure if I'm going to get it on the Xbox to play it that way, or if I'm going to get it on the computer so I can actually stream it. Full Metal Furies. What was Full Metal Furies? Okay, now I'm just looking at Steam Store stuff. Thanks for that. Oh, from the creator. Oh, I see. That's why it's a bundle. from the creator of Rogue Legacy. Oh, that was released this year. Interesting. Full Metal Furies. Now I have to figure out what this is. Oh, cooperative action RPG. No. I don't want to be cooperative. Alright, well now that gives me something to think about. So yeah, there's some games to look at, everybody. If you enjoy games.
I mean, if you really want to.
If you really want to. If you don't, well then, why don't you like fun?
Because I'm human.
I'm only human.
Why do you like fun?
Isn't there a whole thing where fun is just inherently a thing that we want? I mean, you don't need to have fun. But if you're not having fun, why are you doing it at all? Isn't that like a philosophy? It's my philosophy.
Probably, but
if you're not having fun,
subscribe to it.
You don't?
If you're not having fun, what?
If you're not having fun, why are you doing it at all? You don't subscribe to that?
Because you have to get paid sometime.
All right.
Yep.
Fine.
If it's not fun, it's probably work.
Yeah, but you do hope that in between the work, there's something fun. You can make work fun.
Work.
You can. That's a whole other thing. No, you can make. You can make work fun. If you try.
You can't. Nathan, no, you can't.
Yeah. You can.
Nice try.
What do you mean? Why can't I make work fun? Why couldn't I find work that's fun? I could do that.
No.
Yeah, no, you just put a smile on and you just pretend.
Oh, pretending? Okay, that's different.
Yeah, you pretend. You can make work fun if you just pretend. There are things you can do in a job to make your to make work more interesting and fun for you.
Yeah, we make screeching noises.
You make screeching noises?
Yeah, we make screeching noises at work.
Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't exactly what I was thinking as of fun.
It entertains us.
Oh, okay. I like, see, me, what I used to like to do is there were a few people that like to talk about like comic books and stuff and movies and things like that and Marvel. And so we would try to get on the same projects so we could just talk about stuff while we're actually working. So then you get to have like actual conversations with people about things you like while you're doing things. And that makes it more fun. And you enjoy that. So you can make things fun. Sometimes it's work. Sometimes it's work to make it fun. But you know, your reward is that it doesn't feel like work as much when you're making those screeching noises, I guess. Does it still feel like work when you're making screeching noises at each other?
It feels like screeching in the back of your throat.
Ugh. That doesn't sound pleasant at all.
It's all about making the people you work around laugh.
Oh. Well, that's really the biggest lesson we can take away now that we're in 2019. It's all about making the people you work with laugh. It's all that matters. So I think we've gone way longer than I probably imagined. And
we never plan on times.
We never do?
There's no such thing as time.
We probably should have, because I feel like I pretty much ran out of things to say about an hour and a half ago. And I've just been trying to figure out what to say afterward. My brain stopped working about an hour ago. And
well, I mean, whose fault is that?
Nature?
Yes, exactly. On that note, we should probably let DC go to bed and Nathan go to bed.
And you have more drinking to do, so we're gonna let you do that.
I mean, not much. I made another hot cocoa, but
Oh God, more hot cocoa.
with booze in it, it's delicious. Can't even taste the booze. It's
Yeah,
just
well,
delicious.
that's the only way you drink eggnog too. You only drink
It is.
eggnog when there's booze in it.
I drink eggnog no matter what.
Now
Bitches
see,
be crazy.
okay, you have confused me so much because you used to say like I can't do like eggs or you're
I
lactose
can't.
intolerant.
I can't. I
But
shouldn't.
but
is
you
a better
love-
way to put that. I should not.
You love eggnog.
I do.
I
Well, I'm semi like I'm like lactose sensitive. Like I
oh.
can drink like a mug of eggnog, but if I drink like more than one eggnog in a sitting, then it's like my body's just like, hey, you know what you just did was really dumb. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god.
Yeah, because you used to regale me with stories where like you were like, yeah, I
used to chug eggnog.
literally just drink eggnog from the moment it goes on sale to the moment it is no longer on sale. That is all I
used to
drink.
chug it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm
hey, this is your body rejecting it at that point. It's like, yeah, you wanted to chug it for so long. Yeah, well, now you're sensitive to it. Sorry.
Yep.
You're not allowed to do. Hey, you know what? When I was in my teens, same thing happened with me in coffee. I started drinking coffee, and then I was like, ooh, I really like coffee. And I would drink like 3 cups a day or something. And eventually my stomach was just like, no, you do not want this. And so then I had to like stop for a long time because like it gave me an upset stomach. And now I can, but I can't.
Didn't you say you ran out of things to talk about? You're still talking.
Yeah, well, then we got on eggnog. We all know that eggnog is like a conversation starter. It's the natural icebreaker of the holiday season. Well, I'm going to use my eggnoggin and get on out of here.
Get on out of here, little mosey on home.
Okay, we're stop.
Nope.
Stop.
Can't stop the train.
Of course, I want to
Once it's
thank
going.
Drunk Paul for coming on, and of course DC for sticking with us this entire time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Proud.
And with any luck, we will try to do this the first Saturday of next month, which is a day. I don't remember which one, but that's probably. But whatever day that's on, that's probably what we're going to be planning on for the next live show.
We'll do that. We'll
Yeah.
work on that. We'll remind ourselves later.
We will remind ourselves later and try to hold ourselves to it this time. Maybe we'll actually have something specific to talk about. Probably not. That never seems to work out too well for us. But hey, it's worth a try. Because I kind of thought maybe we would talk more in depth about some of the things we were kicking around for 2019 on this show, and I started to realize. Yeah, no, we got derailed from even starting that conversation. So we're not going to worry about it. So, no, happy 2019, everybody.
Happy 19, everybody.
Yeah, happy 19. You've reached your 19th birthday, 21st century. I hope you're enjoying it. Hey, we got you a car for your...
No, we didn't. That's a lie, Nathan. We didn't get anybody a car.
We got the 21st century a car for their 19th birthday. We think that you finally earned it.
I earned nothing.
Oh no, you didn't earn anything. The 21st century did. By being the 21st century.
It earned the right to have hoverboards.
Oh, that's right. We didn't get them the hoverboard. I feel like we missed out on so much.
Probably. On that note,
all right.
All you people who are possibly watching this, which is probably just us.
Probably. But some people will see it later. Listen to it later.
You all have a fantastic rest of your Saturday night, or whatever time of day it is
Sunday
where
morning.
you are residing.
Or Sunday
Whatever it
morning.
is.
You enjoy that. And we will
You'll have
see.
a good time with that.
And we will see you next time. Bye now.
Bye.